It's here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live at the Bike, brought to you by the Bicycle Casino in Los Angeles, California, the first and only webcast of real action cash game poker. My name's Bart Hansen. I'm here with Dave Tuckman, and it's another week of Live at the Bike coming up. And as always, we're going to start this out with a little limit hold'em, 816 limit hold'em, Dave.
Yeah.
To be exact. What a game we had on Friday. Some crazy, crazy stuff.
Yeah, action
I've
was
heard
fabulous.
from a bunch of different people about how they watched the replays over the weekend. Of course, you can watch the entire week on a replay on Sunday afternoon, as well as the game from the previous night the next day all the way until 5 p.m. Pacific time.
Yeah, Friday as a whole was a crazy, crazy night. So.
Yeah. So we got some stories to tell. So right now, let's get into the action, and let's introduce the table.
Let's do that. Seat number one, we've got Ruben. Ruben's been on the show before.
Yep.
Pretty. I'd say he's pretty indicative of what is an 816 player.
Well, he's actually pretty tight, though, from what we saw from last week.
Yeah, but it's, tight, a little passive, right?
Yeah.
Seat number two, we've got Harold, and that's Harold's seat, and he's enjoying dinner. And Harold's probably one of the better players at this game.
Yes, he is.
Got a few leaks here and there that we always like to point out, but he's one of the better players. Seat number three, we've got Sam. Sam looking very bright today. Seat number four is not here right now. Seat number five, we have, is that Alicia?
Alicia, yeah.
Alicia.
I don't think she's ever been on the show before.
No, she hasn't. And seat number six, we've got Owen. Owen has been on this show before.
Yeah.
And Owen's also very indicative of an 816 player, I'd say. Seat number seven, we've got
Just like it sounds.
Kenamat.
Yep.
And have no idea what Kenamat's like.
No, we haven't seen him before.
Get a feel for him tonight. Seat number eight, we've got Mario. And Mario's got a lot of chips in front of him. Each one of those racks represents $200. So he's got probably close to $500, maybe $600 in front of him. Seat number nine, we've got Joelle. And have we seen Joelle in the show before?
Not sure.
I thought we had.
Maybe once. Maybe not in Limit, though. Maybe she played in the 200 game.
Yeah. Who knows?
But anyway, so we're going to start off the week here, 816 Limit Hold'em. It's a 4-8 limit structured game, just like a 4-8 game, just like a 20-40 game, just like a 100-200 game, except we use $2 chips in this game.
Right.
Green chips are $2 chips. A rack of green is 200. A stack of green is 40. 5 stacks to a rack.
So just some updates on Friday night's action that we actually didn't see, by the way. The game stayed crazy all through the night. And just so people know, Jason Katsutani, who we like to talk about, is a pretty good player. He ended up down over $40,000.
Are you going to tell the bowling story, too?
The bowling story?
Oh, you don't know the bowling story. I'll get to it throughout the night. There's a lot of different things to tell.
Okay, well,
a lot of different kind of other things.
Subplots, but Jason Katsutani lost over $40,000 that night.
Yeah.
Corporation Mike won about $36,000 on Friday night. And Melissa showed up. My wife actually showed up at the casino.
Kind of randomly. Limped around here to start it off, 4-way action here. Deuce 4-6, couple hearts, and look at Joelle. She's going to lead out here with top and bottom pair out of the blind.
And that kind of flop you want to slow play there with 2 pair.
And that's a 3 flush out there.
Yeah.
Actually, 3 hearts. No one really has anything here. No one has a high heart, and Joelle's going to take it down. One of the subplots was that Farhad, who had been the big winner of the show, went over to the other table that we were having going. And that was when Mike and Jason didn't want to come over after the show. And Corporation Mike won a $30,000 pot over him with 1 pair. Farhad Queens.
Well, the way the action went, it makes sense that it was 1 pair.
Were you at the table?
I was.
Okay, just you can describe better than
the flop, I mean, it was basically Mike raised big, Farhad re-raised. Pre-flop.
Yeah.
Farhad re-raised, Mike smooth called.
Yeah.
Okay. The flop came up 9 high. Okay. Mike checked. Farhad bet. Mike moved all in with pocket kings. Farhad called him with pocket queens. Flop came out 9 high, and it was a $30,000 pot.
1 pair.
$30,000.
Harold's picked up pocket queens here, and he's going to raise it out of the big blind. Pretty straightforward after a couple of limpers. Then we can kind of see this typical of 8-16 when you see the cards up that people have limped in here. A 7-5 of diamonds, king deuce of clubs. Joel is not in the hand.
The funny thing is, like, a hand like 7-5 of diamonds has so much more value in a no-limit game than it does in a limit game.
Ace 3-3 here. Well, Ruben's got a flush draw here. Not a great flop for queens. Harold's going to come out and lead. Nobody has an ace.
Now, if Ruben would raise with this draw, good chance he would take it down. If he check raises this draw, he's good chance he can take this out.
How about if he led right into Harold, too?
Definitely.
You know, Harold might fold with a couple people after him.
And he just lays it down.
He just lays it down with the paired board there. Usually in limit, you usually have, you know, kind of odds to draw for that. He could, I guess, be drawing dead. But you don't really have to worry about that much in limit as opposed to no limit because you don't really expose your
Yeah, you
stack.
wouldn't put Harold on a 3. I guess Harold could have pocket aces there.
Right. One of the other subplots of the night I heard from Hobby was telling me was that Jason and Mike actually left during the middle of the night to continue gambling, and they went bowling at a local bowling alley in Bell Gardens. And if you ever think of bowling alleys on a Friday night, it's not the best environment to play serious bowling. It was kind of like a rock and bowl type thing. Strobe lights, dark bowling lanes. I'm sure lane etiquette wasn't a big thing with the kids that were there. Get to the rest of the story in a second. C5 raised here with pocket 10s. We got a 3-bet by 7 with ace, queen of clubs. And we're heads up here for 6 small bets.
Now, this is the power of the 3-bet. The flop has missed Kenemat, but there's an overcard to Alicia, and it is a scary card. It's the king.
And Alicia's going to check fold.
And there you go. That's the 3-bet there. That's the power of it.
Yep.
Now, if he just smooth calls there, Alicia probably follows through and bets the flop, and then you have to throw away ace-queen.
Apparently, you know, they were kind of gambling it up pretty big. I'm not going to mention the specific amounts, but
Why not?
KK, Jason Katsutani, he spotted Corporation Mike, from what I heard, 41 pins per string, plus an overall 160 pin per 3-string total bet they had going, and Mike won it all. I mean, if you're going to spot somebody 41 pins in a string, you got to be pretty good. I mean, you probably have to average
You're saying
over
a
200.
string, is that a game?
Yeah, that's a game.
Okay.
That's a game.
Well, and Mike's pretty athletic. I mean, he plays basketball. You know,
But I mean, if Mike can say, just get 140, 150, you're gonna have to average over 200. I mean, in the high 190, high hundreds.
yeah, I mean, if somebody's
Pretty
going to
big
give,
spread.
I got to tell you, I'm not a great bowler, but if somebody's going to give me 41 pins,
Yeah.
as long as I know they're not professional, I'll take my chances.
Yeah. Got a raise here by seat number 8 with ace queen. Ace jacks in the hand, jack 9 here. 3-way action here.
Well,
6 small bets here.
Top pair for Kenemat, and he's going to check it.
And ace queen is going to bet. Let's see how Kenemat's going to go. I really like betting top pair into the raise or usually in limit. Kind of protects
check and
yourself
calls.
because if Mario raises there, you get other people out of there that might have overcards. Turns a 5. And a check call again here by Ken Matt. Let's see if Mario, if he whiffs on the river, is just going to check it down. Well, the river's a 10.
And the problem is if you put your opponent on 6-8, all they've gotten there's not much of a draw there. There's nothing you can beat now with ace-queen. I mean, unless the guy was just calling you with, like, ace-jack the whole way. Which, hey, we've seen this in this game.
And Ken
So
Matt
you don't
takes
want to
down.
get the specific numbers?
No,
I do know that.
I mean,
I've already said that KK, Jason
all right, it
Castani
was something like $1,000 per string and
Yeah.
then another $6,000 bet for the total 3 strings.
Yeah.
All of which Corporation Mike. And then when they left, they came back here and played a little more short-handed. No limit. And Mo actually made a comeback. He ended up, I think he said, up $80 for the night after being down about 7,000 after that voodoo-ish call of the flop that you did one of that with 3-5 against bottom set against
The sad thing is
overcall with ace-6.
The sad thing is actually later on in that night, I played in a game with Mo, and Mo lost to the same hand. I had 3-5 of diamonds, just like he lost to 3-5 before, and he had a set again, and he slow played it and let me get there. The flop came out
you were telling
king
me that.
6-4.
Yeah.
Okay. Flop comes out king 6-4. I have 3-5. Okay. I'm sort of in the hand, whatever. Barry Woods doesn't bet king queen, top pair with a decent kicker. Mo doesn't bet a set of 6s. And then, of course, the miracle deuce comes on the turn, and all the money goes in on the turn.
And Barry Woods, of course, still in there with king queen.
Right, and I tripled up on that hand.
This
Really
was
phenomenal.
This was limped around here. Harold's going to come out and bet here from the cutoff. It gets checked to him with queen jack. Now, Ken Matt is called with a king 9 of diamonds, and again, you wonder why. Turns an 8.
And this is,
Harold's going to bet again here.
and believe it or not, this is what sometimes makes it difficult about beating this game particularly. Now, we just saw the hand earlier where Kenemat was calling him down with top pair, jack kicker. Here he's calling him with no pair, no draw.
Yep.
how do you know what he's got?
No, absolutely. As always, we like to keep this show interactive. You can email us at liveatthebike.com. Questions, comments, suggestions. As always, follow a live thread. Start on the internet. Go to 2plus2.com, spelled out. Go over to Tournament Poker, World Poker Tour, etc. in the forum section. Official Live at the Bike thread for April 24th. You can become our friend on MySpace, myspace.com/liveatthebike. Check us out.
Skype us.
Interesting, I was talking to you before the show. Now, Evelyn Ng actually didn't end up doing all that well. I mean, she cashed.
Hey, she did great for a dunk.
Please.
Hey, if people are going to misquote me, I'll run with it, you know?
Right. Five-way action here, limped around. 10-5 deuce here with a couple of spades. We've got Jack-10 here for Alicia.
Yeah, she's got top pair.
I think she came out and led. Seat 6 call with middle pair, and Kenemat's in there with bottom pair, Queen Deuce. Turns of 5, and now 7-5 there in seat 6. We don't have it up. Mario actually has seat 6 has 7-5.
Now, you can easily throw this away with Jack-10.
Oh, yeah, there isn't a whole lot you can beat.
Right. If you're Alicia here, in a limit hold'em game, especially at this level, if somebody is raising you in the turn, one pair is almost never enough to take it down.
Now, Kenmat is not going to call a big raise here with Queen Deuce, is he? Yeah.
And Alicia throws it away, too. Nice laydown by her.
Yeah.
Really nice laydown.
Now, that is one of the mistakes that people make in low limit hold'em. If the pot is raised and you've got, say, several people in there for big bets, you actually can take one off with any pair if you know your trips or your two pair might be good. But in a limped pot where the pot isn't all that big, you shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be aware, obviously, sometimes that your two pair or your trips might not be good also if there's multi-action, a lot of players in the pot.
Button's going to move here to seat 5, Alicia.
I've seen sometimes where, like, you've got an ace-5, the flop comes out 10-5 deuce. And you think, well, if I hit my ace, maybe I'm good. And somebody else is ace-10.
Right.
We have to be jovial. Yes. People are home are probably going to fall asleep.
So anyways, I was going to say, but another woman, Vanessa Rousseau, got in the bubble, one off the TV table in 7th place, Dave. And, you know, she's kind of cute.
We're not wearing skirts. It's all right.
Hey, you know what? I'm not saying that women belong in the kitchen. But they certainly don't belong in the baseball
dugout.
Exactly. Can you believe that? Keith Hernandez was actually doing, did anybody hear this? Padre game, the Met game, and they all ripped him. They went crazy over this. Unbelievable, I tell you.
Limped around again here. King 5 of clubs for Kenmat. He's going to bet out with the flush draw with an overcard.
I think pocket 3s are the best hand, though, right, Steve?
Well, actually, Owen's got...
Oh, 10s.
Does Owen have 10s or no? Actually, Owen has 9-10. Ronnie is coming off a tough weekend over there. Now, Joel is going to call with an ace-8. And Steve overcalls with pocket 3s, and Owen is out of there.
Okay, I'm glad our show is politically incorrect.
Turns a deuce.
Well, Steve's hand is still good.
Is Steve going to keep calling here? Kenmat is going to continue to lead out. He's got a gut shot to the 3 now, right? As well. But if Steve hits the 3,
yeah, it's no good, obviously.
It's no good if Steve stays in there because he'll fill up. And he does call. Well, Kenmat can catch a club, a 6, a 5, or a king.
How about a 4?
And the river's a 4. Well, that's still not going to do anything because Steve is still in ahead here with pocket 3s.
And Steve's going to call him the whole way.
Yep.
And Steve is a somewhat of an accomplished tournament player. He plays a lot of small tournaments, kind of like that guy Gil we always talk about. And he does pretty well in them, some of the small ones.
Okay, King 5 of clubs had a lot of outs there, the 3 not being one of them. But, you know, a 6 would have counterfeited Steve's hand. Any club, any king, any 5. Actually, a 5 would have given Steve a straight, so 5 was no good either. And Steve kept calling.
Plus, I had the straight, so I needed your 5. I needed a 5 or a
So I went out. I think I'm going to go buy a 10-speed. So I can, a bicycle.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm not driving to work anymore.
No.
No way.
Oh, was it bad? Was it bad today?
No, it's not
Oh,
paying.
it's just the gas. Oh, the gas is outrageous out here. I mean, it seems like it goes up 25 cents a week. It's unbelievable.
Absolutely ridiculous.
You know, I saw Sideways again. I'd seen it in the theaters when it first came out, and then I saw it, I think, over the weekend. And that only took place like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, and the gas in California in that movie was $1.70. I mean, a year and a half later, gas has doubled. Is there anything else like that?
Well,
in
I mean,
terms
gas
of, like, price,
inflation.
cost of
Yeah, no,
goods?
it's crazy. Can you imagine if you went from milk and 1 week it was $3 and 6 months later it was $6?
Right. 8-4 deuce here. Mario's got overcards and a flush draw on seat 8. And Kenmat is going to lead out with bottom pair. Mario is going to raise.
I like the
And
raise
he's
here.
favored over Kenmat with 2 cards to come if
Now
he gets heads up.
This is one of those times where I like the raise here because maybe you can get a 4 out.
Right.
Maybe you might even get a weak 8 out. You never know.
Well, look at this. Kenmat's hit trip deuces. And he's going to check raise. Unbelievable.
Now, this is the only thing that I'm not sure. Now, Mario probably should have taken the free card on the turn.
Yeah.
You've got to realize there's not much of a draw out there. And at this level, there's not much fold equity.
And the river's an 8. Boy, that's a bad card for Kenmat if Mario had an 8. But Kenmat's going to come out and bet.
And I like the bet. If you get raised, you can throw it away. I'm not sure he can.
I don't think that anyone's going to throw it away.
I understand that, but if
Yeah.
you're playing a limit hold'em and you're playing it at a level, you can bet the deuce here, hope to get called by, say, jacks, queens, or kings, or maybe even an ace. You never know.
Right.
Somebody gets stubborn. But if you get raised there, you've got to realize he had an 8.
Button's going to move over here to seat number 7, Kenmat.
Sideways. Good movie, huh?
Yeah, it was.
Such a solid movie.
I got to tell you, part of that movie, it was so funny because part of that movie just kind of like, I forget the character's name, the guy, Miles, right?
Yeah.
The other guy was telling him, like, right before they were heading out for this dinner, did you take your Xanax? And he's like, yeah. And then you see Miles, like, down in, like, 3 bottles of wine. I'm sorry, you can't mix benzos and alcohol like that and just be straight.
Well, he wasn't
Are
straight.
you kidding me?
Is that the reason why?
Usually,
Like,
like, when you take, like, 1 Xanax, you're good for about 1 drink. And that's about it. Short-term memory loss is a big thing there when you mix those 2 things together. Got an open limp here by Steve in seat 4.
They have a Chipino here on Friday night. Oh, that's very good.
I mean, that is a dangerous combination.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they kind of casually did that. 4-way action here.
drugs, alcohol.
Yeah.
Come on.
Queen, Jack, 8, all hearts. Well, Steve's got the nut flush draw over there. And Kenmat, does he have 2 10s there? No, he's got 8 10. Ronnie's in love
Ronnie
with
re-
pocket 10s tonight. Yeah.
Wants to give him pocket 10s.
Steve is going to bet here with the nut flush draw. And Kenmat, because he has 8-10, is going to call with bottom pair with no heart. Wow, very loose call. Now, he actually does have the best hand. The turn's a 4. And Steve bets again. Now, is Kenmat going to continue to call here with bottom pair and no heart? He does have a gut shot to the 9. And he makes the call again.
He convinces himself, I should call this.
Oh, Steve could catch an ace or a heart.
Well, there's the heart.
And there's a heart, and it really is nothing Kenmat can beat now. And did Steve check it on the river? He checked it.
I guess the nut.
He checked the nut flush. I guess he was going for the check raise, but
He's a nice guy.
I don't know. I mean, Ronnie said it the same, because I think Ronnie's very familiar with this guy. They play a lot of the same tournaments. It's his tournament move. I don't know if I'd even make that move in a tournament. In a limit tournament. Are you kidding me?
Tournament move?
I know.
Hey, great play, man. Wow. Oh, Ronnie, clarified there. It's Steve's tournament move.
Yeah.
I mean, bet with the worst hand, bet with the
I
worst
never
hand, then
understand
get
it.
there and check.
Yep.
Okay.
Again, you can email us at live@thebike.com. Now, I don't know. I didn't talk to Mo about Thursday's game. I mean, Thursday's games was pot limit. We were changing that up. But then immediately after the show ended, they kind of moved it back over to no limit. And you and I were saying to each other, what's the point if they're going to do that? So I don't know if that game is going to continue to go or not, or if he's going to attempt that. Ace, Queen, 5 here, rainbow. And no one really has anything. Ruben's got a pair of 5s.
I think he's trying to spread it, and it might take 2 or 3 weeks to really catch on. But I think he wants to.
Ruben still has the best hand here with the pair of 5s. And the river's a jack.
Five's
Ruben
still good.
still has the best hand with a pair of 5s. You
I
got a
don't think
free ride
anybody's
there,
gonna
big
bet this
blind.
year. He's going to take it down. Easy money.
Now, this game seems to be very, very loose passive. This is kind of classic when we talk about small stakes limit hold'em. And we were talking last week about how I don't really buy limping in with suited connectors and suited aces from up front. Maybe you get away with it in a game like this if I see multi-way action.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, in a game like this,
Yeah.
I'm going to change my game up a little bit because basically 2 off the button, the cutoff seat, and the button, I'm really going to look for an excuse to play that hand.
Yeah.
Because I figure, you know what? It's probably not going to get raised.
Yeah.
I can see the flop. If everybody checks to me, maybe I can take it away. If I hit something, hey, I can win the pot. I'm getting to see the flop real cheap.
Harold's got aces here in the big blind. He picked up queens last orbit in the big blind.
Well, seat number 8's got 9s, and he might raise it up.
No,
he
just limps.
Wow, just limps in.
Cutoff. And Button's limped here with king 7 of clubs, and Harold raises. And I think this is the type of game that, you want to pull your hair out when you've got aces from up front in one of the blinds. Because, again, yes, you are favored. Yes, you should raise for value. But you probably are not favored against the other 3 hands as a total.
No, of course not. The field is definitely, obviously, a favorite over Harold right now.
Yeah.
Well, definitely not now.
9-8 deuce. It's a pretty good
Mario,
flop for Harold.
Well, Mario's got a set of 9s.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
But it looks like a good flop.
Let's see if he actually is going to raise it. And this is where, if Harold 3-bets, he does not 3-bet, you might smooth call and then pop it on a non-spade turn card.
Yeah, he might.
Now, Steve
He
calls.
might even, I got to tell you, if I have aces here and a non-spade comes out, I'd probably bet the turn.
Well, how about that? A spade. But he's got the ace of spades in his hand.
He does.
And now Steve picks up top pair. A bet out here by Mario. Well, Harold has actually played his hand pretty passively. I mean, yeah, he's behind. Here we go to the river. And the river's a spade, and Harold backs into the nuts.
Wow. Was Steve
Well,
in it the whole way?
Look at this, though. The 10 of spades actually would be the nut straight
Right.
flush. One card to a straight flush out there. But Harold's going to come out and bet. Now, Steve has a straight, but obviously any spade beats his hand.
Well, I can't believe Steve overcalled.
Yeah.
Remember, seat number 8, Mario bet, Harold called, and Steve overcalled, and now Steve is going to call here.
Wow, that is amazing. And now Mario can't call with a
And look at
7-9.
this. This is going to be a nice laydown for Mario, and people could say, well, what an easy laydown. But in Limit Hold'em, we don't see players making that laydown.
Yeah. I don't quite understand. I mean, a bet by Harold. Steve called the flop, then
That
it was
must be a tournament
raised.
move.
Well, and that's why I was surprised that Harold didn't 3-bet there, because you don't want like a hand like Queen 10 lingering around. Harold actually kind of played that hand a little passively, I think.
Well, he might think he's behind.
I guess, but I mean, are you going to give credit from someone with a set?
Why can't you give somebody credit for a flush?
On the flop, it was only a 2 flush.
No,
out
no,
there.
that definitely. Now, oftentimes what I might do is if I don't 3-bet that right away, I
You
might
wait for safe turn card.
the turn comes out safe, and then I bet it.
Yeah. Okay.
But I see what you mean, though. You make it 3-bet, and you charge that guy in the middle.
Got an email here from Chris C. Bartmeister. You should see the new girls, dealers, Asian at Morongo. Quite a treat. I'm going there every day now. Plus the 18-year-old players go on tilt real easy. There you go. Go Ducks. I've actually never been to Morongo. That's one of the Indian casinos, right?
Yeah,
by San Diego. or
I've
so?
driven by it a couple times, but never actually stepped
Is that the
inside.
one by San Diego, or is that the one out by?
No,
like,
it's up by Palm Springs, Palm
Springs?
Desert.
Yeah. Verona's the one in San Diego, right?
Right, exactly.
The Kenny Rogers commercial.
I'm actually going out to, I think I'm going out to Palm Desert sometime in May.
Are
To
you?
get away for a couple. Yeah, get away for the weekend.
I actually talked with my mother's friend who we're staying with in Chicago. Gonna go to a little Cubbies game on Saturday afternoon, Cubs Padres.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Actually, you're headed out of town pretty soon, huh?
Yeah, for one day.
One day?
Yeah. I'm taking Friday off.
Right. No, but you're going there for more than one day.
Right. I'm flying back on Monday. I'll be back Monday night, but I'm saying I'm only missing the show for one day.
Right. We'll miss you.
Open limp here by Steve with ace-9 offsuit.
Yeah, if you want to do the show with me that night, email us. Let me know your qualifications and why you should be the one doing the show with me that night instead of Bart. You can email us at live@thebike.com.
You actually asked KK, Jason Katsutani, might come and do the show.
He might come in and do like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I might have a
Get Hob in here.
collection of people to come in
Yeah.
for 10 minutes at a time. I might even get Alan in here for 10 minutes.
Oh, man.
I know.
Queen 8-6 here with a couple
I'm a
spades.
glutton for punishment. 7-9, open-ended for Joel.
Well, Ken Matt's going to bet here with nothing. He has nothing. 7-3.
He's got nothing.
Joel calls.
Oftentimes I'd like to raise with my draw to get a free card, but in this case you might want to keep those people in because you figure you need help. But if she's made it.
There's the straight card. She's got the nuts right now. Ken Matt's going to bet here again.
Well, Ken Matt has got it. He's drawing to a tie. If he catches a 9, he can tie. If he catches a 4, he's got some reverse implied odds.
And she raises.
Pretty straightforward. Call with the draw, raise when you get there.
And he is going to call.
He's calling for a chop.
Like you said, set 93% for Joel, 7% that Ken Matt's going to chop here. And the river is a 6. And he has nothing. He can't call the river bet. He has nothing.
No,
He's got 7 high.
obviously, and he's kind of got a little smirk there because he knows he can't call.
She's pushing.
But hey, he can raise.
She's talking a little smack out there. Reminds me of what kind of people are saying about Vanessa Russo. Vanessa Russo is talking a lot of smack to Freddie Deeb at Bellagio. Yeah,
was she saying?
over last week. Just kind of talking some smack.
Really?
Yeah.
23-year-old law student?
Yeah.
Wow. Gotta
Freddie
like that.
Deeb.
And look, she shows a 7. He shows a 7 and throws it away.
See you later.
And
I'm the queen of the gut shots.
Well, she didn't have a gut shot. She was open-ended.
I was getting bored. I had your card plus 9. Thank you. Do I let that go right here? I said I'm the queen of the gut shots. What came
And Sheila's going to come into the box here.
yep, once again, we're live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. You're watching Limit Hold'em. The limits are 8 and 16. That means the blinds are 4 and 8. And kind of a new schedule we've got going on now. Limit Hold'em's Monday night. Tuesday's kind of like a no limit. You never know what it's going to be, but it's no limit. Wednesday's big no limit. Thursday's hopefully pot limit.
Right.
And Friday's obviously our big 10-20 game.
Pajato on 2+2 says, I backed Steve, seat number 4 in the tournament last week. Not only did he only make it a couple hours, but he had to tell me about 3 bad beat stories while I was still in the same tournament. It's interesting how that happens with a lot of those guys that kind of are, I guess, what you call,
Yeah.
I don't want to say railbird-esque, but a lot of guys that get backed into smaller tournaments.
That would be my
a lot of bad beat stories.
That would be my first criteria. If I put you in, will you not tell me how you get knocked out? Because I don't care.
Right. Ace Queen 7 here on the flop. Harold has the best hand here with Ace Jack. He's on the button. He just limped in on the button after a few limpers. He's going to bet. And Sam here is going to call the gut shot to the jack. Ken Matt calls again with nothing here. 6-8 of hearts. And he picks up a backdoor heart draw. Harold is still in there.
Well, that's what he's calling for. He's calling to pick up a draw.
Harold bets. And I
Sam
assume that
folds.
Ken Matt is going to call now. And this is like if hearts come, you know, you got to be Harold. You're going to scratch your head here. And the river's a heart.
Well,
and Ken Matt makes it.
And I got to tell you, if I'm Harold here, well, he's actually in position.
And Ken Matt checked.
And he's gonna
Harold's
raise
going
this?
to bet.
And he is. He's going to check raise the river.
Yep. Wow.
And I got to tell you, I like the bet by Harold. Can you throw this away?
Well, Harold's going to, no, he's going to pay it off. But again, this is one that you just kind of scratch your head at. You're like, wow. And everybody's going to see the fact that he called on the flop with 6-8 of hearts here. A flush.
Call, runner, flag.
I know that.
And yeah, Joel correctly points out that it was runner, flush. Now, you'd almost expect it when you raise there. I'd almost start putting somebody on a hand and go, what did you have, like 8-7 of hearts?
Right.
Or ace 5 of hearts? Something like that, where you had a piece of it.
Button's going to move over here to seat 3.
Once again, if you have any questions for Bart and I, you can email us at live@thebike.com. You can also, if it's more of a detailed question, you can send us a private message over at our 2+2 account. Bart is Bart Hansen, and I'm Friar Tuck over there.
No, I just was talking to you. Just don't want her to walk away, that's all. Although I could clown you and say, you should go second. I'm late.
Limp here.
Two to call?
Hold on.
Limp by seat 6, limp by seat 6, limp by seat
8.
7 and 8, excuse me.
Oh, nice flop for seat number 8 there. He's got 6-7 of hearts. Gut shot with the flush draw.
Now Ken Matt's got Jack 10. He's going to bet out here. And just a call here with 7-6 of hearts. And this might be one that you want people in for. He just calls. And seat 5's got Jack 5. She overcalls, turns a 3. And he's now double gutted.
Now this is
No,
exactly
actually,
the
he's
spot
not.
where
He's not double gutted.
this
Excuse
is
me.
exactly the spot where oftentimes you see players raising with 6-7 of hearts, and that would drive out the other jack.
Yeah.
But you actually want that other jack in there.
He still has just a gut shot to the 5 here with hearts, and
Well,
she folds anyways.
Yeah, she's gonna get rid of her jack 5 now.
Yeah. And the river here is an 8, and Ken Mack makes it. I mean, he's good, and he checks. No,
Yeah.
he's going to bet anyways. And Mario has totally missed.
Yeah.
And we had a kind of we said some wrong names in there. Seat 6 is actually Sam.
Yeah, I knew who it was. I was just kind of playing, having a good
Oh,
time.
okay. And seat 3 is Owen. So that's
Yeah.
Sam in seat 6, and seat 3 is Owen.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, I mean, people might say, boy, Ken Matt, he calls a lot, but you see guys like this. I'm sure you. I mean, I see guys like this at the 30-60 level. You were telling me that last World Series when you were playing at Bellagio, you saw guys like that at 81-60, right?
Definitely. You see a lot of businessmen. You see a lot of people that have money. They want
Right.
to play poker. They don't necessarily know how, but they figure, hey, what the heck? You know, guys who have a lot of money sometimes don't want to play 3-6 limit.
Right.
So they step up and play 30-60 or 81-60. Now, Bill Gates, he'll play 3-6, but how do you know?
Limped around. Not a lot of pre-flop raising at all in this game. This is really, really loose passive
Yeah.
here in this game. Huge, super, super loose passive.
Where those cards go.
10 deuce 5 here. Rainbow on the flop. And it doesn't look like anyone has an... Oh, Mario's got middle pair. It's the best hand. And it gets checked around. Turns a 10, and Mario still has the best hand. Might Mario lead out now? Well, Ken Matt is going to lead now with Queen 7. And you know what? If I was Mario, I actually might raise there.
But if you think your hand is best,
Yeah,
raise it up.
I don't think that Ken Matt sandbagged at 10. Ken Matt is betting out with the Queen. Obviously, there are a lot of cards vulnerable just to a 5.
Right. And if somebody else has picked up a diamond draw, you
Yeah.
don't want them sticking around. You want to make sure they pay for it.
River's a 3, and a bet here with Queen High, and Mario calls him all the way down here with the 5. So it's interesting, you know, a lot of guys who tend to call down a lot don't bet a lot, but we've seen Ken Matt bluff a couple of times
Yeah.
now, so.
He's
And he's also bet out with top pair, so.
Yeah, he's the one that's going to be driving this table all night long.
Yeah.
You can tell.
Michael Jackson.
I was actually kind of proud of myself. I was playing in the 10-20 game right before the show started. And,
10-20 no limit.
yeah, and I was able to sniff out a bluff from Alan, of all people. That's Alan.
Really?
Yeah, it was one of his classic, I missed my draw.
missed river bluffs.
I missed my, yeah, exactly. I missed my draw. Let me throw out $200 in the river. And I called him with a pair of deuces.
I actually quietly had one of the best afternoons I've ever had here today.
Yeah.
Regardless.
You said you took a big pot from a guy named Matt,
Right.
who doesn't actually has never been on the show yet.
Yeah.
He's kind of more of a daytime player.
Yeah, more of it. I can tell you, the games here in the 500 game, it's a different crew than at night, but they're pretty good during the day.
Yeah.
And again, I might start just coming in here at 1, playing, then doing the show and leaving, and just stay on Friday night.
Right.
Because a lot of times, it's funny, you and I would go out there on at night, and I really don't necessarily want to be at the same table that you're at, because it's just one extra good player. I mean, I'm not avoiding
But
that.
I give you tons of action.
Right, right.
I don't know why you wouldn't want to play with me.
But you know where I'm driving at,
Of
obviously.
course, right.
Five-way action here. Open limp here in seat 1 with King Jack of clubs. Ace 5-5 here with a couple clubs. And seat 1 there, Ruben's got the nut flush draw.
Well, Alicia's got an ace-6 supposedly.
Well-
She's not in there though.
But can Matt bet out with Ace 8 and just a call here with King Jack of clubs?
Yeah, and Alicia's not in the hand.
Turns 6.
And then I can go back to
Ken Matt is going to come out and bet again here. And Ruben calls again. Ruben needs a club. And the river's a 10. Ken Matt bets again.
Yeah, and limit hold'em almost becomes mechanical at this level in the sense of you can see Ruben sitting there just waiting, hoping. Okay, no club, I throw it away.
I got to tell you, no, in a game like this, I'd probably open with King Jack of clubs for a raise.
Oh, definitely.
More so for value. I mean, just because of the fact we haven't seen any pre-flop raising, I'm not necessarily trying to drive everybody out of there, but I think it's a case where they're going to call anyways.
Yeah, I mean, the
Yeah.
funny thing is, I just read this article in, what is that newspaper? We get it all the time. It's like this poker magazine we get. Anyway, somebody wrote an article about limping in with ace-king, where they said if you have ace-king in a limit hold'em game in late position, why raise if 4 or 5 people have already entered the pot? Because your raises are going to drive anybody out anyway. And to me, I'm going, well, you're raising, first of all, you're raising to buy yourself the button. You're also raising for value. Your hand is probably superior to everybody else's hand. Why not raise for value there? I don't see why you wouldn't raise ace-king there.
Well, it also allows you, especially in a passive game, to bet the flop regardless of what comes and then get 2 free cards on the turn and on the river.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
oftentimes.
Been fun.
5, 6, 7 here, all hearts, and got a deuce 10 of hearts in there for Mario in the big blind. Ken Matt comes out and bets. Pretty nice flop for him. He's got pocket eights. He's open-ended with an overpair. Mario calls with a flush draw. I'd like probably just the call there. Again, this is kind of one of those, almost like a dry draw. You don't necessarily want to drive 8 out if you have a flush draw here.
Right.
Turns a deuce. Ken Matt's going to bet again. Mario calls again. He's picked up a pair with the draw. And Ruben is calling here with king 9. He's got a gut shot to the 8. Interesting. I mean, with 2 hearts out there, he's going to need to catch an offsuit 8. He's got 1 out pretty much to the win, or he can catch the king. And the river is the 5. And Ken Matt is good. Oh, look at this. Steve backed into trip 5s. Steve rivered trip 5s. Jack 5 of spades. And Mario is going to call all the way with a pair of deuces with 2 people behind
Wait,
him.
was Steve all in?
No, Steve's going to raise now. He's got chips behind him. He's got a rack behind him.
Be ashamed of yourself.
He raises.
Why was he in there?
I don't know.
He called the turn with Jack 5?
Yeah.
Man,
I didn't play any of that.
yeah, it must be a tournament move. I gotta tell you, maybe this is why I suck at tournaments. Jesus. I gotta learn how to play tournaments better.
And Ken Matt's looking at it. I doubt that he's going to fold. And he calls.
But I played
Oh,
the
a
hand
bad
that's
beat is-
hot. I told you I got a monster. Jack 5 suited, baby.
There it is.
I said you ought to be ashamed of yourself. I knew you had that garbage.
I think the women are really on top of this table compared to the men from listening to their comments.
Yeah, well, they
in the
know it. They know
background.
what's up.
Yeah.
I tell
mean,
you.
you see seat 5, folding, Jack rag, when she needs to overcall in the big bet round in the turn a couple hands ago.
Hey, I'm not saying a woman belongs in the kitchen, but they certainly don't belong at the poker table, okay?
Right.
Christ almighty. Yap, yap, yap.
If I get it again, I'm going to pre-raise it.
I got to tell you, from what I've seen, probably these 2 women are probably the best, couple of the best players at this table right now.
Oh, no doubt.
Without
Look
a
at,
doubt.
I mean, seat number 5, Alicia,
Yeah.
has already laid down top pair
Right.
to a raise in the turn. None of the guys at this table are doing that.
Yeah.
Go there. I've been at tables with you guys when I was younger.
And I'm not necessarily just saying it because she, because they're playing weak. It's obviously the right move.
These men right here. These younger
Oh,
girls
ace, queen of hearts here for Ken Matt on the button. See if he raises.
with a funny accent.
And he does raise. Obviously, I think that's the right play.
Oh, no doubt.
Now again, look at that small blind call there by Mario. I mean, 10-6 of diamonds for 2 bets fold in the small blind.
Yeah, I just don't know why you want to put more money in the pot in the worst position possible with a hand like that. I don't understand.
5-way action here. Jack 6 deuce with a couple clubs.
Well, Owen's got top pair.
Joelle called there in the big blind with 8-4 clubs. She's got a flush draw.
That's another hand I probably would not call out of the big blind, even with the suited cards.
No, I tend to agree with you, but I see a lot of players.
Yeah.
That's not an outrageous call. She's getting a lot of odds there. She picks
Exactly.
up a
She's
draw.
getting like 7-8 to 1, and then she hits
And
it.
now
Yeah.
she hits the clubs. See if she comes out and bets. And look at Mario. Mario's caught 2 pair. And is Mario going to check raise here? It is a 3rd club, and she comes out and bets. And a lot of players might not give her credit because they would think, well, if someone makes a flush, she would check raise. But she realizes that she's vulnerable to higher clubs coming on the river. She bets.
I can't believe Mario actually called the flop. Bet.
And let's see what Mario's going to do here. Is he just going to call? Ken Matt obviously doesn't have anything. Owen is still in there with a pair of jacks.
Yeah, can he get rid of this here?
No, Owen called. Ken Matt calls. Oh, all right. And Mario's going to just call. Joelle needs to dodge here a 6 or a 10. And the river's a 5, and she should probably bet here again.
Yeah,
She's probably
pretty
going to get a
straightforward.
call from Owen, and she
Why not?
does.
And overcall.
Well, Mario overcalls with 2 pairs. She makes 2 extra big bets on the river. Nice playing there by Joelle the
Yeah.
whole way. Again, I got to, the big blind call is a little loose, but I gotta tell you, at a table like this, I might make that call in the big blind with 8-4 clubs.
No, you know what? The
You
more
know,
you
the
look
more
at
and
this
more I
table,
think of it. Yeah.
you almost have to.
Yeah.
Because you figure, okay, if I hit my flush, I'm going to get paid. I'm
Absolutely.
basically putting in there 4 chips to win probably something along the lines of 25 chips or so. The only problem is those when
No,
you're
more,
out of
more than that, though. I mean,
No, I
more
mean-
than 25 chips.
with implied
Oh,
odds.
yeah, right, with implied odds, yeah.
I guess my thought though is the only problem is now she happened to catch it right away. If she doesn't catch it, she's in a spot where she's checking and calling until the river.
Yeah.
And out of position with a flush draw, it can be tough to play.
So again, I definitely think that these women are probably the best at the table. And again, I have some respect for Harold's play as well in C2. He's pretty good.
Yeah, Harold
Yeah.
is a decent player.
Yeah.
We've seen him. He also makes a couple of almost leaky, loose calls in the blinds as well.
I check it.
3-3-5 here. Now, Joelle's got trip 3. She checks it from up front. Seat 1, Ruben is going to bet with pocket deuces. Let's see how Joelle's going to play it.
Now, she completed from the small blind with that hand.
Now, Ken Matt calls. Is Joelle going to check raise here? No, maybe she's going to go for the check raise on the turn, or maybe she'll lead out in the turn. Turns a 10. Now, what is bad here is if nobody bets. That's kind of what disaster happens. And I'm surprised Ruben's going to continue to lead out with deuces.
And Mario's going to definitely call this now that he's made his flush draw. He's got a flush draw plus a gut shot.
Now, is Joelle going to check raise here with 9-3 on the turn? I assume that was what she was trying to set up.
Yeah.
And
And
she
she
is
already,
going to check raise.
and if you're being observant here, she already had the chips in her hand.
The only thing there, though, again, though, an overcard comes to the board, and pocket deuces calls, and the river's is 7.
Well, he was all in. He's all in, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and trip threes. Now, let me ask you this. Now, I know you were just praising Joelle, but at the same time, she completed out of the small blind with 9-3
Yeah, that is a little loose. Well, the other thing, though, too, that she's got to realize that is a critical mistake is with that texture of that board on the flop and the turn coming 10, I don't think you get a guaranteed bet out of anybody on the turn. You miss a bet if you're going to wait till the turn and try to check raise.
And how about if a spade or a 4 come out on the river
Yeah.
and she loses the whole pot?
Yeah.
100 on 1.
I think she needs to either lead out on the flop or check raise the flop. Get some money in there.
Yeah, probably.
I could play a 9-7.
It's one of the reasons you don't really want to play that hand in the small blind. First of all, you're not going to make that much money on that hand. I mean, she did pretty well, but she can't maximize her winnings from out of position.
Right.
And that's pretty much the only way you're going to make a real good killing at that hand.
I like playing that.
You don't see it.
You never see
Well, this time she's got ace-jack. Let's see if she can keep her her rush going. Does she raise in position with ace-jack offsuit? No, she's just going to call. And we're going to see this 6 ways. She has the best hand by far. And there's top pair for her.
Jack 9-8 here with a couple diamonds. Now, king deuce of diamonds here from Mario. He's got the second nut flush draw. And she is going to raise. Mario bets right into her, and she raises. Proper play there.
Hey, you got to be helpful. You love that.
Now, and look at that. Harold does not call the raise with Jack deuce. Very
Yeah.
good laydown. Pretty obvious laydown, I think. And is Steve going to call 2 bets cold here with queen 9? He does have a gut shot
And
to the 10.
Yeah, you don't mind him calling this with 2 diamonds out there. You don't mind him calling this, but now you're charging him for it. Some people go, well, I can't drive him out anyway. I might as well just call. No, you want to charge him more.
And Mario calls.
3 players.
You know, it's interesting. We had a discussion about this when you came about your ace king here. Well, it turns a diamond and Mario makes it. And now Mario's going to lead here. Well, she's going to call. She is drawing dead.
Yeah, and there are times you got to realize now, you don't necessarily give Mario any credit, but you also have Steve behind you.
Yeah.
And you might put one of those players on a diamond draw. And Steve gets rid of his queen 9.
And the river's an ace, and now she makes aces up.
Yeah, and that might get her to pay off. And she's going to pay off.
Yeah, Mario bet blind. And she takes it, and he takes it down. You know, it's funny, you were talking about that ace-king there. A lot of times I think some of the books that players read, I think maybe in Skolansky's book, maybe even Small Stakes book, with ace-jack there, high cards that are offsuit, I think sometimes, and maybe somebody can correct me wrong if I'm wrong, they do preach not raising there. Say with an ace-jack offsuit in the button.
I just don't understand why. Give me an argument. Why would I not want to raise with a premium hand in position?
The people will get up.
I mean, somebody can email us and let me know. I just don't understand why. If I have ace-king or ace-queen offsuit, even offsuit,
Right.
and I'm in late position, and I can buy myself the button with the raise, and I get 5 people that are behind me, basically out of position to me, to call my raise, well, I'm getting more money in the pot when I have a premium hand and I'm in position. Does that guarantee that I'm going to win the pot? Of course not. I could still easily lose that pot. But hey, anytime that I'm in position, I want more money in the pot, especially when I have a premium hand.
Got a raise here by seat 7.
You didn't do that.
Ketamat.
What did you get?
It's an interesting email. I want to read this here in a second because I want people to respond to it.
Salmon?
Or maybe you can read it after this hand here, Dave. 8-3 deuce with a couple of diamonds. Owen's got top pair. Ken Man is going to lead out. He raised with ace-10. He makes a continuation bet. He gets called. Joel calls with bottom pair, ace-deuce. Now, this is the case where you say, you know, your 2-pair might be not good with ace-deuce if you catch an ace.
Exactly.
Or if it's a diamond. Turns a 6. And now Owen makes 2-pair, and he's going to lead out right away.
Yeah.
And Ken Matt really should get out of the hand. There's nothing that he can catch. He is drawing dead to Owen's hand. There's nothing that he can catch here that would improve
And
his
Joel's
hand.
not going to call again, is she? She's
I don't
got the
think
money.
so.
She's got the chips in her hand.
I don't want to stuff my face in front of the camera. I'm hiding.
Remember who's betting here? It's Owen betting. Look at him. Does he look like a bluffer? She's not going to call, is she? No, okay.
No.
I thought she was going to call for a second.
I think Owen's going to take it down. So we got this email here from John Toller. Again, you can email us with criticisms if you want. We'll read
Yeah,
this.
we love it.
He says, guys, this Monday night limit game is extremely boring as it is every Monday night you feature limit. I would bet that your viewing audience is way down on Mondays, and you feel that by airing limit, you'll capture those few people left who don't watch the no limit action. I believe if you did the research, you'll find you're wrong. Put no limit back on Mondays and watch your numbers improve. I'll be back tomorrow night for the no limit game. P.S. No one cares about pot limit either. Stop fooling yourselves and look at the statistics instead of your personal interests. Well, the only thing I can say about that is that this game is not on because of our personal interests. That's for damn sure.
Talking about.
Yeah.
I look forward to this all weekend, okay? Don't kid yourself.
So anyways, yeah, you can email us. Tell us if you like the limit on Mondays or the pot limit, obviously.
Yeah, let us know what your favorite night is. Now, I mean, obviously, I'm going to expect most people to say, well, my favorite night's Wednesday night or Friday night. But if we had that every single night,
Right.
you know, eventually you get bored, okay?
Limped around here, 10 deuce deuce. Steve's got the best hand here with 5-10. And he does not bet out, and it gets checked around. The turn is an 8. Now, Mario did not bet with a flush draw. Now Mario's picked up a pair and a flush draw. You got a call here by Ken Matt with an 8. Mario overcalls the flush draw with an 8. And Steve has the best hand. Mario could catch an 8 to chop or a diamond to win. The river's a 4, and Steve's going to escape here.
And Steve's going to bet for value here.
Yeah.
And he's probably going to get paid off in at least one spot. Now, I'd say if Ken and Matt calls
Yeah,
here,
there's no way Mario can
can
overcall.
easily throw it away. You're not going to overcall this.
Right,
But if Ken and Matt doesn't call, though, Mario might be forced to call at the 8.
right.
And Steve takes it down. Nice value bet on the river there.
Blind special, nobody raised. Is it good, sir?
Oh, no.
I was scared to bet. I was scared to be a deuce out there.
Yeah, you found the strength.
Button's going to move over here to seat 3. Hi, Kelly.
Do you mind if I have to read this from 2+2 here?
This is not our personal views.
This is not our personal
But
views.
it's damn
I wanna-
funny.
But this is a post from 2+2, Eastern Bloc on 2+2. He says, hey, saying anyone is the best player at this table is akin to finding the guy with the biggest dick in Japan. Now, the views expressed by Eastern Bloc do not necessarily
Reflect
the views of the Bicycle Casino or us.
Right. Four-way action here.
So that I just had to laugh. I mean, once again, we like to say we're politically incorrect, so we got to keep that up.
Look at this. Sam's got a set.
That's some funny shit.
And
though.
Alicia bet right out here. Jack 6-7 with 3 diamonds. And Sam did not raise with the set. I got to tell you, with 3 diamonds there, I'm charging high diamonds for calling. I'm going to pop that up 100% of the time if I'm Sam. You got to bet out by Alicia, and he just smooth calls there with the set.
Of course.
And Joel is going to call here with the queen of diamonds. And look at seat 4. We don't have it up. Steve has flopped the flush. 10-8 of diamonds.
So what does the tournament player do here? Wow, what a flop here. He actually has the gut shot straight flush draw.
Yeah.
Playing for
And look at this, the turns of 5. And now Joel has the best hand.
Yeah, but Steve is open-ended straight flush.
And look at this. Sam now leads out with the set. Joel just calls, and Steve is going to call. I mean, this is unbelievable stuff. Joel shouldn't even be in there. Probably Steve should have led, Sam should have raised, and Joel wouldn't have been in there. And the river's a 10, and Joel's going to win this one. And if it gets checked, or do you bet with the queen of diamonds here?
Yes.
And I have the 1, 2,
If it gets checked to me, I bet it.
highest diamond.
Well,
so
no, she's going to check it down.
Although Steve does check raise, though. I will say
Yeah.
Steve would check raise the ace here.
Yep.
Right. Send it to mommy.
Good hand, lady.
shouldn't have hesitated so bad on
You
the
got to
flush.
charge people for the high diamonds
Yeah,
there.
you have to. I mean, he played it like there was no way he could lose with a 10 high
I'd have bought
flush.
it.
Yep.
I'd have thrown.
I mean, she didn't have many outs, but why let her get there at all?
Bad play. Bad play, because I was ready to throw.
Button's going to move over here to seat 4, excuse me.
Because then not only do I know he already has it, do I sense he already has it, but I have to assume he has it then.
It's funny, I actually put my wife in a 3-5 game on Friday.
Yeah,
And
I
she
saw
kicked
that.
some ass. I put her in, I gave her $400 to play a 3-5 game, 5-5 blinds, no limit game, and she won $110 in about an hour and a half.
Well, I was late in the hit.
I was so proud.
Did she tell you any interesting stories that happened?
No, she just said she told me the players were terrible. She said these guys just giving me money. I said, okay, great. I said, come on down more often then.
Ace King here in seat 2 for Harold.
I even let her keep half of it. Sport I
You
am.
went 50-50, huh?
Yeah, I give her a good deal. She's my wife.
Look at this. Harold is just going to limp in over there, Dave. One off the cutoff with Ace King. Now, that is definitely a hand that I'm going to raise with.
Well, that way, that's
Yeah.
the article. That's what the article said. Don't raise with that hand. There's no point in it.
I mean, look at his hand is by far the best. And ace deuce here, and he would really win a lot of bets here if he bets straight forward here with Ace King.
Now, what is Alicia going to do here?
Now, Ken Matt is going to come out and lead, and Harold just calls. And Alicia, is she just going to overcall and go for the check raise on the turn?
Now, it's funny. In no limit hold'em, you really, really got to be careful with a hand like Ace-9 here.
Turns to King, and now Harold fills up.
Yeah, and
Oh, and he should definitely raise here. It's limit. Yeah, he's filled up, but you've got to raise.
you actually
Get the extra
put her
bet
on
in.
an ace.
Get the extra bet in, Harold. I guess he thinks he's going to wait till the river to raise, and he just calls. And the river's a deuce. Oh,
Wow.
man.
Now, this
Yeah.
is interesting. He might get more bets in here.
And now he's
She's
going to
filled up,
raise.
too. He has a full house.
That's right, but he's got the top end of it.
And she just calls. Great.
just calls, yeah.
That's a great just call by her. Well, it's not the same hand. Wow.
I got to tell you, if he raises the turn there, she probably calls. And if the river is a deuce, she might lead out again with the full house, and he can raise her again.
Exactly.
I think he missed a bet in there, and he missed the pre-flop raise as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that is clear-cut example of why you would want to raise there. Get a dominated ace in there, and you flop trips.
Yeah, that's why I didn't even re-raise. I just didn't want anybody to go out with the wrong, with the right hand.
I mean, the funny logic that I'm reading this article, and their logic is, well, don't raise with ace-king pre-flop because, people are going to call you anyway. See the flop for cheap. And then you can get away from it if you don't hit anything. And I go, okay. So with that, I guess with that thinking, should you bet if you have top pair and the other guy has a flush draw? Well, he's going to call you anyway.
Right.
Why not see the turn for cheap? And if the flush comes, that way you can just check and fold. I mean, it's just utterly ridiculous. I don't understand why you would not put more money in the pot with the best hand in position.
Limped around here. 5-way action. King, 9, king here.
Oh, you're mine.
No one has a king. Seat 6 here. Sam is going to lead out with a flush draw.
I gotta tell you, that was one of the funniest things that Easter brought. That was funny.
Yeah,
that was really funny.
No. I'm not going to.
And I don't think this hand is even good enough for Ken Matt to call here. Ken Matt, he's got 10-5. But seat 8 is going to call Mario with a
He had
pair of
backdoor
nines.
hearts. I don't know what he's folding for.
Turn here is an ace. Sam's going to lead out again here. Now, if Sam had the nut flush draw, you'd be behind as well. Obviously, you'd be behind a king. But Mario continues to call, and any 9 you're going to chop, and the river is a 3. And Sam bets again. And now Mario does call. And, I was going to say, what are you hoping to make there with 9-6? But I guess he beat a dry flush draw. But again, on the turn, you can't beat any king. You're going to chop with any 9. The only thing you can hope for is the non-nut flush draw. And the flush draw had overcards to an overcard to his pair
Yeah,
of nines.
I mean, with 9-6, I'm actually happy to be chopping with any 9. Right?
Right. But usually Sam, I mean, we've seen him on the show, he's not usually betting, firing 3 bullets
Yeah,
as a
not
bluff.
usually.
I'd usually probably get out of there with that one.
Probably would be in there in the first place. But
Yeah.
Yeah, but she heard about it.
So you know what's funny? Like I said, I don't play online very much. But this weekend, well, not actually every weekend, I'm going to try to play at least one tournament per weekend now.
Yeah.
Up till the World Series, so I can kind of get into tournament shape again. Anyway, so I played in yesterday's PokerStars $1 million guaranteed tournament. And I thought I did okay. Actually, there were like 5,500 entries. I got knocked out about 950 and something in that range, whatever. But the guys I was playing with, there were 2 or 3 players that were at my table that were so belligerent that would constantly chat to other people. You donkey, you suck,
Welcome
you
to
idiot.
online poker, man. It's
And
like
I'm
that
like-
at one at every table, man. It's crazy.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, I just didn't understand what the heck was going on.
Everybody's real big behind a computer monitor. I mean, it is. Shirley was actually talking about how bad it is at the upper levels, like 30-60 Omaha High Low. How bad it is. Some of these guys talking trash.
Yeah, it
We had a race here by, boy, somebody. We've got 7-way action, 14 small bets in the pot.
Ooh, set of 9s for Owen.
King 9 Jack. Owen's got top set. Steve
Look at
has
this.
top pair.
And Kinnamat's got 2 pair.
Yeah, he's
bottom
got bottom 2 pair.
That was the case 9.
Joel's got ace jack. And we got a raise here immediately by Owen. I love the raise.
Yeah, he's got a great raise. And Lemon Hold'em,
Charge the 10s, charge the queens with the gut shot. Steve's gonna call 2 bets cold here with king queen with a gut shot to the 10.
and what does Kinnamat do? Does he raise this?
Sam calls with pocket 10s, and is Kennemat gonna check raise?
Man, I got to tell you, a lot of cards can hurt you.
I mean, does he think he's slow playing it? Wow.
I don't know. He might at this point. He might actually think he's behind. You never know.
22 small bets in the pot. The turn's a 5.
That's a safe card there.
A bet again by seat number 3, Owen. A call by king queen. An overcall by Sam with pocket 10s.
Now Steve needs
28 small bets in there. 30 small bets in there.
Steve needs a 10 to win. Sam needs a queen to win.
Yep. And the river is an 8, and a set of 9s is going to take it down, and he should continue to bet here.
No doubt.
Oh, he checked it.
How do you check
Wow.
it? The scary thing is the 8 doesn't change anything. If somebody had the straight already, they had queen 10, they had you already.
And Steve is now trying to figure out if he's got the best hand to bet here. There's 30 small bets in the pot, and he's going to come out and bet.
Well, there you go. Owen got the bet in there anyway.
And Sam calls. Oh, man, I got to tell you, at this point, you can almost check raise with a set of 9s.
Can you?
I mean, don't you think you would have heard from queen 10?
No, it's clear nobody's got queen 10 here unless Steve was, sandbagging it the whole way, and now he's going to bet it.
And is Jack 9 going to now check raise on the river? This would be unbelievable. I mean, I don't think Owen's going anywhere, is he? No, he just calls.
All right, let's see it.
And Owen overcalls. So the third overcaller is going to win with a set of 9s.
Hey, no point in value betting when you let somebody else do it.
And he's going to pick up 36 small bets here, Dave.
Set of 9s. Take it. Owen is slow rolling them all.
Give me the money.
He slow rolled them.
Oh, man. Oh,
This
man.
way, send the money.
Oh, man.
Look at him. It's Owen out of Brooklyn, okay?
36 times 8, Dave. That's about 8 carry the 4. 284, right?
Where's Owen from? Owen from Queens or something, man? What is that?
36 times 8, 284-ish.
I had to bet a hand to
I'm not listening to you. It's a lot of money. What is it? Say it again. I'm sorry. 36 times 8?
288. 288.
Okay, there you go.
36 small bets.
A rack and a half.
Where's my head?
There you go. I just love the way he turned it over.
Jack, right? What if a jack came?
Fictitious.
What if the last
A blonde knows
What if the
what
last
it is.
card were a jack? You would have won. He would have won if the last card were a jack. So take your 3 9s.
Oh, man.
Owen was sitting there for the last second. Oh, man.
Look at this. Couple big hands here. Jacks in seat 3, queens in seat 4, ace king in seat 5.
That was classic.
Oh,
Owen
this is
flipping
great.
over. Send me the money. That's way,
This
this
isn't a
way.
fun night. Owen's going to raise with jacks. I assume that Steve is going to 3-bet here. Now, this is going to bring an interesting hand up here. If you get a 3-bet here by Steve, seat 4's got ace king offsuit. Do you just smooth call the 3-bet? Do you make it 4 bets? Do you ever fold? At a tough table, I think you fold,
At a
right?
tough table, you fold. Here, you probably just smooth call, thinking that.
She smooth called the 3-bets.
Yeah, you figure one of these guys has got a pocket pair, and you got to hit your hands.
Yeah.
Oh, Catherine. That's too much. I thought you called me
And
fat. I was saying-
Kenamat is going to cap it with ace 4.
Is that for me?
4 bets.
Well, he just lost a big pot. There's no way he's not going to cap this one.
And Ruben is going to call, Dave, in the blind with Jack 9
I
off
just want the
suit.
whole table to know I have
We are
no
going to
business
see,
being
in
inside
pocket
of
deuces
full
in there, Joel.
The bad
We're going to see
people.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5-way action for a capped pot.
Unforeseeable.
That is
$32 a pot.
20 small bets in here on the flop.
So
20
32
small bets.
$32, 6 ways. We're talking $200 pre-flop.
And Queens is still in the lead here. 9-5-4 with a couple of diamonds. Steve's
And
going to bet.
Owen's in bad shape here because he can't get away from his hands.
Now look at Alicia just folds there. I mean, she didn't have backdoor nut. I think maybe I called that once with the ace of diamonds.
You have
She's
to.
getting 20 to 1 on her money.
You have
She
to.
folded with ace king there with the ace of diamonds.
Wait a second. No, it was raised by Kenamat, called by Joel, and now 3-bet by Ruben. Maybe she knew that.
Check raised 3 bets with Jack 9. And we're going to see it capped now on the flop 4 ways.
Well, maybe, you know what? Maybe
Wow.
Alicia knew that was going to happen, so she threw it away.
Wow, 4 ways. 36 small bets in here on the flop total. Ruben is all in. The turns of 5. Again, we got 36 small bets in here.
Yep. Now, Kenamat is going to need an ace or a 4. Owen needs a jack, and Ruben needs a 9.
And it gets checked over to Kenamat, and he's going to bet again with ace 4. Oh, man.
Gumbo, gumbo, gumbo.
And Joel is going to call. 2 bets, 40 small bets.
Wasn't she just criticizing everybody before? How is she still in there with deuces?
Ruben is still all in, and now is Owen going to call here with jacks? He calls, and so does Steve.
And there's
and
the
the
queen.
river's a queen. And now
And if there was ever any
Steve fills up and he checks it on the river. He checks
Hey.
it on the river.
I got to tell you, in this one case, that's not a bad play.
You get
especially
an
Kenamat.
overcall here by Owen.
And now you can raise it up.
Owen calls, and now Steve is going to check raise here. And this pot is well over 50 small bets. 50 plus. Is Kenamat going to call with ace 4 here?
Yeah, we're talking about a 2-rack. 2-rack.
Over a $400 pot.
That's the wonderful thing about Limit Hold'em. You can win 1 pot an hour and be fine. Actually, 1 pot a night and be fine.
Steve check raises the river here. We got 50 small bets in the pot. Over $400 pot here.
And Kenamat is shaking his head. I mean, it's an easy laydown for Kenamat with the player behind you. Now, if you're Owen, the pot is $400, 16 to call. Do you call this getting, what, 25 to 1 on your money? Well, hey, I mean, I think it's an easy laydown for Kenamat, especially with Owen behind him, but...
Good laydown.
Yeah. I mean, I think you have to call this. I probably call this with jacks, knowing that it's dead, but I mean, if I'm actually still in there with jacks,
Yeah.
I'm getting 27 to 1 on my money or something ridiculous.
He gets the call. He makes the call. And this pot is going to be about somewhere around $420.
Yeah, I'm all for saving
50,
bets.
54 small bets. That's probably going to be the biggest one of the night there, dude.
Yeah.
Capped on the flop 5 ways. Capped pre-flop 5 ways. Capped on the flop 4 ways. Wow, what a pot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for saving those value bets, saving those bets in the river, but sometimes when you're getting 27 to 1 on your money. Hey Dog wanted to know if I won my seat for the World Series of Poker. I actually have not tried to win a seat yet.
I actually tried for the first time this week, and I played 33 rebuy, $33 plus rebuys on Stars.
Okay.
And that's got a nice little tournament. I didn't win it there. And there's obviously going to be, different occasions. I
Right.
really want to win my way into that horse tournament on full
Right, you
tilt.
said the 50K one.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, I just played the $1 Million Guarantee tournament. I thought that was a nice value. 5,600 people or something. entered it.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, give it a shot. I was happy that my tournament game seems to be coming along.
Yeah.
I think by June,
No, I was
I should
9
be
At the time I had
in good shape.
full of
So
7.
I'm kind of excited.
The other player had 2 7s.
Once again, we're live at the Bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. You're watching Limit Hold'em, and the limits are 8 and 16.
I'm gonna call. I told you I'm gonna be a calling station now.
Well, since I've gotten deuces 4 times, not once have they even come close to even.
Button's over in seat 8, and we're going to see this. Flop ace 5-5. Owen's got trip 5s.
Oh, what?
Sam's got top pair with a king kicker, and you know Sam's not going anywhere, huh?
Raise?
What are you doing? You know I'm steaming and you're coming after me like that? What is
And Harold actually threw a bet out there with ace 8.
Yeah, he's got top pair here. Now the board is
Yeah.
paired with 5s.
Now, if you're Owen, do you raise it right away with the trip 5s? You know I like to, because in this game, nobody's going to go anywhere anyway.
Yeah, you're going to check raise. You checked it. Is he going to make the check raise out of seat 3
You
here?
might as well bet it.
$450 fine.
Actually, Owen bet it. I'm sorry. Harold did check it.
No, just a call here by Owen. Just a call.
Wow, okay.
Harold bet and just a call. Actually, it was actually Sam that bet with ace king and a call and a call. I mean, there's chips flying all over the table here. Again, it's limit.
Well, it took Steve about 30 minutes to rack up his chips there
Yeah.
after winning 2 racks there.
Turns a 10, and now Harold picks up the nut flush draw. Now Owen is he's going to bet out with trip 5s here.
Yeah, Harold's not in the hand anymore. He got rid of ace 8.
Yeah, and Sam is going to call with ace king.
And this is heads up.
And the river
Oh, wow.
here is the 6. He would have made backdoor clubs.
Yep.
And Owen checked the 3 5s here at the river.
Wow.
He checked the 3 5s at the river. Unbelievable. And Owen's going to win it there with 3 5s. Wow.
Owen takes it down. Some big pots we've seen here the last couple of
Yeah,
minutes.
unbelievable. You know, it's funny, we had a post here on 2+2 by Pajeto saying, why not make Monday night sit-and-go night? Well, it's interesting. We've tried that before, and live tournaments do not necessarily play all that well in an unedited format because of the fact that, you know, it's a lot of push and shove. You don't get to see a lot of post-flop play. We've done this months and almost a year ago.
Right. If you like to see a lot of, like, I raise, I'm all in,
Yeah.
okay, next hand.
Right.
It can get kind of boring.
Yep.
Now, I like it. I mean, you and I we kind of debate this. I like it because to tweak my tournament game, and I'm assuming that most of our viewers do play tournaments occasionally.
Yeah.
To tweak your game, it's always nice to see a hand-by-hand, you know, kind of account of how the tournament's going. I always get kind of annoyed because you watch the World Poker Tour or you watch an event like that and you see Phil Ivey at the final table and you go, well, that's great. I see how he plays that one hand, but how did he get there? How did he get all those chips? And that's what you want to know. Button's in seat 9, and Joel calls here with ace 5.
Dave, we got a representative from the Aviation Club in here. So, what's your name, sir? Bruno? Bruno, you know Isabelle Mercier? She's a cute one, right? Can we get her in here sometime? Yeah? Oh, it's always fun to have some other casinos coming in here and checking us out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Button's over here in seat 9. 5-4 deuce here on the flop. Turns a 3.
Joel's got a wheel.
Joel's got a wheel here. Nobody has a 6. Joelle is going to come out and bet here on the button. It got checked to her, and she's going to bet there with the wheel straight
Yeah,
there.
Harold's got the wheel also.
Yep.
Same wheel.
And Ken Matt is going to overcall here with king 3.
Yeah, and he's drawing dead.
Yeah. Well, he can get a chop. And the river's a 5, and is he going to... Well, actually, excuse me, it gives Joelle trip 5s. I thought it gave him trips.
No, it didn't change anything
And,
there.
and she checks it. She checks it. It's the third spade on the river.
I don't mind that check there.
She
I mean,
can't beat any 6, obviously, and she's going to chop it up with Harold. Both players have a wheel.
Yeah. Now, I'm surprised both players... Actually, she's on the button, and it gets checked to you. I think you bet that ace, don't you?
Well, again, remember, it's the third spade, and I guess some players have gotten a little tricky here with...
Check raising the river?
Check raising flush draws or check raising sets and, you know, whatever. One of the funniest things about one of the sit-and-go tournaments we had was, I remember Jason Katsutani. This is way back when we were in the other location.
Right.
He actually wouldn't give me an interview. I went out there and he said, no, I don't interview.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were in the booth for that.
Yeah, he
when
doesn't
won
like
that. No, he does like me. We're friendly. But, no, just in general, I think he's... Do you know the other funny thing about him is, do you know how old he is? He looks like a 25-year-old guy, doesn't he?
How old is he?
He's 44.
Really?
Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
Wow, he aged well.
He's been playing poker for 20 years professionally.
Man, wow,
So
44.
he's really been doing it
That's
for a long
ancient.
time.
Jesus.
You got a late side.
God, that's old. God. I gotta get him a walker or something. You know, it's funny. One of my best friends actually turned 34 this weekend, so
Yeah.
I got him a package of the pens
Oh, man.
as a
Come on.
gift. It was early on our live debate. Katsutani did not want to play on the show because he was worried he was going to give away a lot of stuff. Now he's realized that the benefits far outweigh what he's giving away.
Steve open raised here, looks like with an ace-10 under the gun. Seat number 5 is going to cold call with king-queen. Seat 1's in there with the button with pocket 9s. And here we go to the flop. Ace-queen-5 here.
Well, there's the ace.
Yep.
Steve and Owen both have an ace, and Steve has got Steve's got him out kicked.
And look at this. Owen bets right in with the ace, and Steve rightly raises here. Now, Alicia probably should get out of there. She does with the king-queen.
I like Alicia's game so far. I really do.
I really do, too.
I had ace
I
five.
Now
definitely
Joel's a little looser, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe the 5's coming.
And Owen makes the call. The turn's a jack, and let's see if Steve continues to bet.
And the kicker still plays. Both
Yep.
players have a pair of aces, queen, jack, either
Check
10 or
call
9.
here by Owen, and the river's a 3. Now, it is a third heart, and might that shut down both players here?
And Steve's going to win this with a 10
Yeah, it's
kicker.
going to check it down here. Just one above, and that will do it, though. The ace-10 is going to play.
Now, I got to tell you, would you ever bet that river anyway against Owen? Think about it. If he had ace-king, might have shown a little more strength.
Well, also-
ace-queen or ace-jack, he's got 2 pair.
Also, yeah, I think you hear from him with 2 pair on the turn, maybe through a check raise, ace-queen.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I
So
don't think you
ace-10
do
there,
best.
if you think about it, you probably can bet.
I think you put him on a weak ace, which is
Exactly.
exactly what he had. And, you make one extra bet. Of course, in the interesting email here, I don't remember who the emailer was on Friday night that said, you guys always think that you make a lot of more money in no limit and the better players play no limit. But he said that to win at limit on a consistent basis is almost harder because you need to push the small edges
Yeah,
so
I
much.
agree with that. It is hard.
I mean, you see value bets and bets lost missed all over the place
Right.
tonight. Now, these aren't necessarily top professional players, but, hey, you see it in that big game that we did in the 400-800 game before.
Definitely.
Pocket aces here for Mario. He's going to bring it in from seat 8.
Now, I'm really excited to see the Aviation Club coming down here. I can only assume that we're going to be going to Paris soon. I'm really excited. This is great. I've never been to Paris. My wife being English, I always go there.
Yeah.
I don't really like England, so I'm looking forward to Paris.
You're more of a French guy, huh?
Well, I mean, the food. Come on, it's romantic. I'm looking forward to it. When are we going, Evelyn? Okay.
King 9-7.
Sign
here
me
with a
up.
couple
I'm there.
clubs.
June. Okay, we'll be there. I'm free.
Aviation Club is still WPT. They're still doing events, right, in June. Now, Mario is bet here with aces, and Steve is going to check raise with king, queen. Doesn't have the best hand. And Ken Matt has a flush draw. I don't think he's going anywhere for 2 bets cold. He is going to make the call. Now, does Mario 3-bet here? And he does. He 3-bets.
Now, we talk about it in no limit.
No, wait a minute. Did Ken Matt 3-bet with his draw?
Wow.
A
he's got-
dry draw. That's what you talk about. Why would you 3-bet that? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The turn's a king, and Steve hits trip kings.
Although I got to say, okay, I'm going to throw something at you. If you have a dry draw and you have enough players involved, you can bet with your dry
But
draw
if
just
you-
because you're getting more money in there.
But he actually check raised 3-bet with it.
Right.
And Steve is going to check raise here. He's check raised the flop, and he's check raised the turn. Can you get out of there if you're aces now? Steve has check raised the flop and the turn.
Well-
I mean, isn't he representing a king? And we've got another big pot here.
Yeah, I mean, I think if Mario needs to get away from that hand there.
River is an 8, and Steve's going to come out and bet here with king, queen. Again, Kenamat is totally missed. He's probably going to fold.
And Mario's probably going to call this, and you got to realize when you take that much heat on the flop, you got to put one of your opponents on a king. Now the top card pairs on the turn. Okay, they've got trips.
Yep.
No, he's on 8-10.
And is he going to throw this away now? So you're saying he called the double bet on the turn just to spike an ace on the river, and that was it? Man,
That doesn't matter anymore, does it?
I mean, I got to tell you,
So you
oftentimes
folded the river.
that's what I mean. I mean, oftentimes you'll see somebody in frustration with aces. They'll call you on the turn, and they'll call you on the river as well.
Yeah.
Okay? But rarely will you see somebody actually call that turn bet, which would mean that Mario puts him on a king and he's calling for 2 outs.
Yep.
Now, I know in limit hold'em, oftentimes you have the odds to go for your draws, but rarely do you have it to go for 2 outs.
Yep.
I already called
So this is great news. We're going to Paris. I guess the World Poker Tour is right before the World Series, which would be great. Go to Paris for a couple of weeks, hang out there, and then go to Vegas for the World Series. Man, I got my whole summer planned out.
Yeah.
This is fabulous.
Little crepes on the street.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hey, whatever. Sounds good.
3-way action here.
Hey, Melissa, pack the bags. We're going.
10-4-5 here, Rainbow. And bet here by, looks like Mario's betting with a gut shot wheel draw, ace deuce. And Kenamat has nothing here. He's got deuce 7. And he's going to let it go. And Mario is going to win one of the smaller pots of the night, Dave. This has really been vintage low limit hold'em. I mean,
Yeah.
last week we had a couple of 2+2ers on the show, and it played somewhat taggy, right?
Yeah.
As we say.
You
But,
know, it's interesting. I love the 2+2ers, but they don't make for good TV.
Well, yeah, in terms of,
Exactly.
right.
Exactly. I got to brush up on my French, though.
Yeah.
And Isaac's going to Paris now, I guess.
Yeah.
Isaac's out of the boat. He's gone. He's out of here. packing his bags.
Button's moved over here to seat 4.
And see, there you go. Crackhead says, this is wild. Cat pre-flop, cat post-flop. Who said Limit Hold'em was boring?
Yeah. Three-way action here. Deuce 6-6 here on the flop. Mario's got trip 6s. 6-6 deuce, the 2 spades. Mario's going to lead right out here with ace-6. Well, another reason why, though, I mean, it's funny, we go back to that hand as we're catching up to the 2+2 posts. I don't check raise the river. I mean, seriously, we're kind of having fun tonight with the queen. I think it's an overcard to the board, unless you think that Ken and Matt has trip 5s. But the way that this guy's playing, I don't necessarily know if I give him credit for that. I'm not going to always go for a check raise on the river, Dave. I'm not going to risk missing the bet. Again, I think it's a disastrous thing if you go for a check raise on the river and a guy check behind you.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, I can count on the amount of hand how many times I've check raised the river in my life in Limit Hold'em.
It's really rare. You know,
Yeah.
the only guy I ever check raised in the river, and it was more of a personal thing,
I was like, you wanted to get him personally.
Frank Landon.
Oh, yeah.
Frank Landon was a prop that used to be here.
Yeah.
He's really just an ass.
He wasn't that bad of a guy. You just didn't really like him, right?
No, I did like him. It was just, that was more of a, just like, I wanted to stick it to him, okay? And I knew he had pocket aces, and I knew he would bet the river.
Yeah.
And I had a set,
Uh,
and I checked it to him in the river so I could check raise him.
Ace-8 deuce here. Did you check raise the turn or ever show any turn strength?
Oh, we had like 6 bets on the flop.
Oh.
And then I slowed down. And then I let him bet on the turn and the river, and then I check raised him. And he called me as if like I got there or something on the river.
Steve bet there with Jack-8, and he's going to take it down.
I mean, he's just one of those guys. He's kind of cutthroat. You know, you could be telling him, man, I'm having the worst day. God, nothing's going my way. And he goes, oh, good, sit down with me so you can give me more money then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just such a cutthroat guy that, you know, I saw the opportunity to, you know, give it to him in the ass, so I figured why not.
So it seems like we're going to kind of get mixed reviews. Some people say Limit is a nice change. Some people say I would rather watch paint dry than a Limit poker game.
Well, if you want to watch paint dry, my wife and I actually just painted our closet. And it's not dry yet. So come on over. We live in Burbank. It's really not that exciting.
But moves over
But
here
hey.
to seat 6.
Man. I tell you, you can't please everybody. You know, some guys, when we don't have Limit Hold'em on, we get complaints. They go, where's Limit? Where's Limit? We try to put a show out there for everybody. And I guess if there was no Limit Hold'em every night of the week, I think it might get boring after once in a while.
We had a pre-flop raise here. I believe it was by... I think it was by... It might have been
Ruben?
by... Might have been Mario. Out of the small blind with King Jack.
Well, he's going to follow through here, and Joel calls with
Joel
ace deuce.
calls with ace deuce here.
Now, this is a pretty
Turns
easy
to
flop.
king.
If you're Mario, I just check and fold here. You got to look at that board there.
Yeah.
Ace 7-5. What did she call me with?
Well, now he picks up the king, though. So maybe she... And look at this. The river's an ace, and Joel makes trips. And she is going to bet. I love the bet. He checks it to her, and she bets. And that is a great bet there on
and
the
as
river.
advertised, you know what I mean?
Yep. You know, it's funny. I was talking to Ernie Schrader, who plays
Who?
here at the bike. He's a guy that plays here a lot. You would know him by face.
Okay.
He finished real high in the Borgata Championship. I think he finished 7th. And he was one of the only guys that I know that regularly went to the Aviation Club in June every year to play over there. A lot of
right,
Europeans.
okay.
He was telling me how small that place actually is.
Really?
Like, it's nothing compared to some of these places out here in L.A.
You know the one thing I like about the Aviation Club, and I wanted to
I mean,
talk...
I've never been there before. But
No, me neither, but I
yeah.
wanted to talk to Bruno about it, because
Yeah.
one thing that I wish our casinos here in the States would adopt is they have, like, a dress code.
Do they really?
And it's a pretty strict dress code.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to go in, like, a button-down shirt and
Yeah.
slacks, and, you know, you've got to look presentable.
I remember that at the Victoria Casino in London. I remember when I was living in London for a while that they had like a, you know, kind of a dress code. They, you know, it almost takes away some of the, I say what you say, bad characters that sometimes frequent casinos around this area.
Well, they try to make it look a little more classy.
Look at this. Steve has aces, and he didn't raise pre-flop.
Hey, that's a tournament move.
I just don't get it here, folks.
Well, you don't get tournament moves, okay?
yeah, I
buddy?
guess. Jack 3 Jack, and Owen's got trip jacks.
And you know the worst thing? Owen might not be in there if you had raised.
No! Well, wait a minute. Steve here is just going to call. Now, is Steve waiting for the turn to raise? Is he going to ever find out?
He might do it on the river.
Sam overcalls with Queen 10.
No, did he really? Queen 10?
Owen bet right out with 3 jacks.
I tell you, some of the stuff we see on the show just makes no sense whatsoever.
Turns a 3, and now Owen fills up. He's
And
gonna
Steve has
bet
got
out
2
again.
outs. Steve needs one of the black aces to hit the board.
He says, I'm
And-
going to have to call you.
Yeah, because the board is really draw heavy.
Right.
Because he's betting a straight draw.
River's a 4, and he's going to bet again. And Steve calls.
I have to call you. I have to call you.
You want to see my hand?
Want to see my hand?
You don't want to
Oh,
see this
God.
hand.
Do we have to hear? Well, I'm going to have to hear about this bad beat for the next 2 months now.
Just a couple, small pair.
Oh, seat 6 actually asked to see his hand.
Okay.
And Owen turned over, and Steve turned over a small pair. That's what he said.
I mean, sometimes you got to look at that flop. Okay, now Steve is... Now, obviously, Steve wanted to call. People always think, I've got to call up my aces. The board is Jack, 3. And Owen bets. Okay, I call one time. Now the board pairs, so it's Jack, 3, 3.
Hey, sometimes
What is
they're
he
good,
betting?
Sometimes they're not.
What do you think he's betting there?
Because when you try to call, I know I had a feeling you'd like to raise it, but you didn't raise it. That's why I said he has a raising hand.
That's what happens when he's slow playing, but he's still going to call.
Button moves over here to seat 9.
Again, nice post here from Shady Poker. He says, Dave, interesting request. They want to see how pros accumulate chips throughout a tournament to get to the final table. I remember Mark Safe on the circuit saying it's exactly what the PPT will show. He said there are going to be something like 5 2-hour episodes showing a pro from day 1 to the end. Yeah, the problem with the PPT, though, same as most other shows, it's edited. So you don't get to see what hands these pros are laying down.
I got to tell you, I'll be honest with you. You know, I'm not a huge fan of the WPT, and I will give the PPT a chance, but I watched their first episode, and I was bored. Now, maybe
Yeah.
it wasn't because I wasn't into it that much, but I just thought that the overall presentation of the WPT was just done more excitingly and a lot better. And that is not to say that it's not going to be good. I will still give it a chance. I'm just giving my first opinion
Yeah.
of the first kind of sneak peek show.
Small hand.
You know,
Yeah,
I don't.
I mean, I thought one of the things I thought was
I'm
really
kind
interesting.
of biased because I think that tournament poker isn't necessarily all that interesting. I'd much rather watch cash game.
Right, I know you would, but
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it was really interesting. Like, I was really interested to watch the final table at Turning Stone a couple of years ago.
Right,
The one that
right.
had Phil Ivey, and,
Yeah.
and that was interesting just to see what these guys were playing. More of the, the not big hands.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, hey, if I have ace king, some guy's got jacks, and I raise, and he moves all in. Do I call with jacks or not? Okay, that's whatever. Ace 4 deuce, couple of spades out there. Ruben's got the ace, and Kennemout's going to bet with 4-5. He's got second pair with a gut shot. Ruben's going to just call. Heads up. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Owen called as well with the 4. And check, and Ruben's going to put some money in with the best hand. Owen should get away from 4-6 here pretty easily, but he's going to call, and Kennemout's going to call. And Ruben's got to dodge some cards here. And he does not do it. Look at that. 4-5 gets there. Kennemout has 2 pair. And he's going to win this. And he bets right into him.
He bets out there, 1 card straight to the 3. Bets right out into
Now,
the
this is
button.
one of those, like, against a tough opponent here, sometimes you can lay this down, but against a tough opponent, are they trying to represent the 3 here?
And he does call.
Do they maybe miss spades?
Email by John Seeker. He says, don't be changing limit. I like it. Richard says, I love seeing limit at least one night a week, but I like to see maybe a variation such as 15-30, 30-60, and big games. Rally G. Matthew says, I like the limit shows on Mondays as it shows me that I'm not the only one that's rivered by poor players. Jason Whitmore says, I can't stand limit. So interesting comments here. And email here from Marcus saying that even the larger 20-40 limit is boring to watch. It's very mechanical and no real potential for excitement about limit. And Dan says he likes limit because everything else on television is no limit. There you go.
Thanks for the emails. Keep them coming in.
And Dave McQueen says I like limit too. And it seems like everyone seems to say that pot limit is a good mixture there on Thursdays.
And that might not be something we spread all the time, but once
Yeah.
in a while to switch things up. Another ace. It seems like every flop has an ace on it. And once again, Mario with the ace-jack, he's going to bet it. He actually raises Kennemout. Kennemout actually bet with the pair 7, second pair, and Mario raised him up right away. And Kennemout calls. And the turn brings... Well, there's the 8. And Kenemat has made 2 pair, and is he going to check raise this? He does. And Mario's going to call him, and Mario needs a 6, an ace, or a jack to win this hand. And there's the jack. Look at that. Mario makes 2 pair. He makes top 2. And when Kenemat bets into you, do you raise it up? No, he's not going to raise this up. Scared of possibly a flush or maybe the straight. And he just calls with the ace jack. And Kenemat turns it over like he got the bad beat. That always amazes me. You were behind the flop. You get there on the turn. And then when you get a bad beat on the river, you think it was your bad beat.
Interesting email here. We've got a whole load of emails here.
Oh, great. I love the emails.
Joe McKellar says, I think their argument for not raising these hands, talking about like the ace jack,
raising ace king, ace queen.
If you got a lot of limpers in front of you, the pot isn't going to get enormous. Isn't getting enormous. Of course, I like raising most of the time, but I think the argument comes from keeping the pot size smaller so you can bet raise people out and get 1 pair to hold up more often. Now, if they're suited, you're definitely raising because of the possibility of flopping a flush draw. But I think you could go either way with offsuit big aces. It might be good to use the offsuit hands as an opportunity to mix up your play a little. Everyone's obviously different, and anytime the game's passive, I would definitely be raising every good chance I got. Screw that guy that says limit's boring. It's tough to win at limit sometimes and takes skill, whether people who play only no limit believe that or not, whether people who only play no limit believe that or not. Good show, guys. Thanks, Joe.
Appreciate the email.
So he's actually talking about keeping the pot small so your raises in later rounds actually mean more. So you actually drive people out.
Right, getting somebody out with 1 pair, stuff like that.
Yeah. 5-way action here. It was raised pre-flop, I believe, by Owen with ace king.
Yep, you're right.
9-4-6.
Steve's got a flush draw, and that means Steve's not going anywhere.
We had a bet out here by Kenemat with 5-6, a call by Mario with 6-10. Steve calls and Owen calls on the button. And Sam is in there with ace high, ace 3. Now, obviously, if Sam were to hit the ace, it's no good. Turns at 10. Now Mario picks up 2 pair.
Yeah. Now, this is one of those cases, if I'm Owen, I don't even call. There's 2 clubs out there. I might only be drawing to 4 outs instead of normally 6 outs.
A bet here by Kenemat again with pair of 6s. Mario correctly raises. Going to charge Steve for the flush draw. And Steve has now got a gut shot to the 8 with clubs.
Yep.
And he's going to make the double-sized call here, which is probably correct anyways.
It's a great raise. Is it correct?
He's got a straight draw and a flush draw here.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
He needs to be getting about 3-1 or so.
I think he's definitely getting that.
Okay.
And there it is. An 8. He should really lead out here. You have to lead out here. Are you kidding me? And he is going to bet out. And it's a great bet here.
Yeah, and he's going to get called.
Because Mario might have checked 2 pair down there. You can't always depend on a check raise on the river.
And it's a crying call from Mario.
Yeah.
And Steve shows him the straight.
And you got to look at it. Mario has to call there because somebody might be keen in trying to use that straight possibility as a river bluff on busted clubs. You know, that situation in no limit I always love because I always tend to over-bet that in no limit when I'm going to club draw and I back into what seems like an obvious straight. And somebody is always forced to seem like they have to call because they think I'm trying to use a scare card as a bluff on a busted flush draw.
Right.
So I really tend to, you know, whereas a flush is more obvious, Dave, when you back into some sort of straight with the flush draw, I think you really should overbet it because somebody doesn't give it credit for you and someone thinks you're bluffing it
Now,
off.
in this game here, can you blame Mario for calling? I mean, he's getting about 12 or 13 to 1 on his money.
I don't blame him. I think that somebody might try to use that card as a bluff.
Right. Especially Steve, who is a tournament player.
Right. As we pointed out many times
Yeah.
tonight.
One of those evil tournament guys. You know, it's funny now, we were getting back to the PPT, I just wanted to mention. To me, the thing I love about seeing live, and the few times we've had, say, a final table of a tournament here, and we've seen, say, or a sit and go, or come sort of freeze out. I love seeing how somebody plays just kind of the hands that mean absolutely nothing. I'm talking about the blinds when somebody raises it up and you've got, 10-8 suited. What do you do there?
4-way action here. Ace, King, Jack. Kenemat's got the best hand. He's going to lead out.
Who's Mark safe doing the commentary with over there?
I don't know. I don't remember off the top of my head. Turns an ace. Kenemat still has the best hand here with the Jack. And he's going to continue to bet.
Yeah, and he'll probably take this down here. I mean, Owen and Sam in there with just a gut shot. That's it.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily, ragging on the commentary. I just said I didn't find the first show all that enjoyable.
Right,
I'm
yeah.
definitely going to give it more of a shot. It's just my opinion.
Yeah, didn't work for you.
You know, something about the commentary where it's almost like the WPT actually, and I'll throw something out at you, see if people agree with me. The WPT, Vince and Mike actually do commentary at the time of the game, at the time of the tournament, where they don't see the cards, and they do post-editing.
Right.
So they actually can say some things that they use at the time that seem somewhat genuine and are genuine.
Right.
Whereas it seemed like a lot of the PPT stuff sounded totally post-edited. Just the sound of it kind of sounded
Right.
like
Was Mark
people
Safe
were
trying to like?
expecting it.
Was Mark Safe trying to like think? Was he saying, well, this guy could have this, and he's playing it like this?
No, it just kind of seemed to me that, I don't know, maybe it was just maybe the excitement level just either sounded a little bit contrived to me, or just the fact that it seemed like they knew what was coming, or
Right.
that it just sounded like it was just scripted. You know what I mean? It didn't sound all that natural.
And it
Where
probably
I gotta-
was scripted.
I got to give credit to Vince and Mike. I like the aspects of their commentary sometimes, because I really do not think it sounds all that scripted. I
Right.
think they have it down. They've been doing it for 4 or 5
Yeah,
years.
you're right. Owen here with overpair. He's got
Yeah.
kings. Nobody's got much of anything at all. You imagine this could go check, fold, 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 but that rarely happens in this game. But if there was ever a flop that was going to happen, this
Yeah,
could
this
be the
might
one.
be it here. I mean, is Mario... Well, look at this. Ken and Matt is going to stay in there with good old Jack Deuce. He needs running a runner. Turns a 5.
And he's drawing dead.
Owen bets here again. Now, obviously, with the board pairing on the flop, Ken Matt's 2-pair would be no good. He would have need to have caught running deuces, running jacks, or running straight
The
cards.
flop is 7-7-3. What is he calling with? Boggles the mind, I tell you. I understand what you're saying there. Obviously, you know, our show being live, being completely unscripted, it is difficult if you're not used to kind of talking off the cuff. It's difficult sometimes to get a script and make it sound like it's live.
Right, right.
That can be hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mark Safe obviously doesn't have, I don't know how much experience he has doing that or not.
And like I
But
said,
it
I'm
can be
not
very
bragging those
difficult.
guys, and this is just my first impression from one
Right.
episode. I can
No,
be
it can be
totally
very
wrong
difficult.
about this.
It's very hard
Yeah.
to get a script in your hand
Right, right.
and make it sound unscripted.
Right. And I will definitely give them a chance and give them a shot, but I can only comment on the one time I saw the show, which
Right.
was that teaser show.
We get Eric in seat number 1.
Interesting email here from Jason Esteban. I'm going to read it here in a second, because we do have a lot of differing opinions on this. It's almost like half and half here.
It seems like
Yeah.
it. And obviously, we try to have a show for everybody. We
Yeah.
understand that everybody doesn't play 25-50 no limit hold'em.
Right.
Everybody doesn't play limit. We try to have a night for everybody.
4-way action here, limped around, ace, deuce, 4. Looks like 7-4 over there, and seat number 9 is the best hand.
Joel's got it.
Turns a 3, and now deuces and 3s in seat 8
Yeah.
in Mario's hand, Sebastian. He's going to lead out here. Third spade on the turn. Anybody with a 5 would have a straight. He leads right out with deuce 3.
See, I think in limit hold'em, that's an easy play. You bet your 2-pair there and hope nobody's got the spade or the 5.
Bites in good.
And he's going to take it down. He had
I
deuce
certainly don't
3
want
there.
to check and give away a free card.
So anyways, here's an email from Jason Esteban. Hey guys, actually I much more prefer Monday's limit to any other day. Why do I want to see the same people play every day just for different limits? Limit is more complicated, has more skill, and you get to see more showdowns. Maybe though you could show some higher limit games. Tell this fool that he's God, I gotta always proofread these emails.
You really
Dave.
should.
Tell this fool that
More people play no limit.
yeah.
Are completely
You
wrong.
try to read it.
He is the typical modern day player who doesn't really know poker but
Yeah.
loves to go all in.
With anything. I bet he has every WPT episode recorded.
Well, I mean, hey, in defense of people that love no limit, obviously, going all in can be very exciting. Thank you very much for the email. Now, obviously, we used to have that 400-800 limit game with Jerry Buss, the famous
Right.
one we had with Tim Fan, Jerry Buss, Yoshi Takano. I want to say it was last August. Jerry Buss has not been here much
No.
lately.
And
Busy
actually,
with the Lakers, I
Yoshi's
guess.
game hasn't been going that much lately. Owen's going to come out and bet here with 8-9.
Yeah, Harold's got the flush draw. He's going to call.
Yeah, he calls. He's got overcards. And the button's in there, Mario, with queen 7.
And Joel called with bottom pair, 9-4.
Turns
I wonder what
king.
Joel is doing in there.
Gets checked around here. And the river's a king. And Owen's hand is good here with
Yeah.
8-9.
He's going to win this.
And would you ever bet out here with 8-9?
I would.
With the king pairing?
Not only would have I
And
bet
he's
the
gonna bet.
turn, I would have bet the river as well. Definitely.
Although he's not going to get called by anyone.
Yeah, I mean, I think
But I think that
definitely
he definitely would have gotten called at least by Harold, right, with the flush draw.
Yeah. When the overcard comes up, you can't immediately be scared there.
Another email here from AC Boyd. He says, I love Limit Hold'em Monday. I play a lot of Limit Hold'em on the internet, 5 tabling, and your guys' talk has been very helpful. Don't listen to the No Limit Tournament TV poker clones that don't understand Limit. The only problem with Monday Limit Show is that the players aren't really that good. Good players make it better. Thank you.
I got to tell you, finding good Limit Hold'em players, that's difficult.
Right.
There aren't that many. Like I said, I've been playing Limit Hold'em for the last 2-3 years, 40 hours a week, 45 weeks a year, and I just haven't found that many Limit Hold'em players
They're really
that kind of scare me.
Yeah.
I go, wow, that guy's a good player. I don't want to play
Well,
with
you know,
him.
then again, I got to tell you that we don't have really super, super high limits like some of the other casinos. I would go to venture if you were to hop in maybe to the 1-2 game at the other casino. You might see some good limit play.
I'm sure.
Yeah. 2 ace
Although
kings
it's
in
probably
here
real different.
and an ace 10. 3, 4, 5 here, rainbow.
Well, Joel's open-ended with the deuces.
Alicia was the raiser. She does not continuation bet. But Kenamat is going to bet here with ace king.
And is Joel going to raise this up?
No, she
No.
just called.
I mean, I think with deuces there, you almost have
And
to
you
raise
know what?
it up.
Alicia's out of there with ace king. She's not going to chase this board. Owen calls with ace 10, and he spikes a 10. Wow. And Kenamat is going to continue to bet. I think he actually 3-bet pre-flop here. And Owen is going to check call, and so do deuces. Now, Joel needs a 6 or an ace.
Kenamat needs a king and only a king.
And the river is a
Oh,
deuce.
no good there.
She makes a set of deuces, but both other players have wheels.
Yeah, exactly. And I was going to say, Kenamat needs one of the remaining kings to actually win the pot. This will tie it, though, with Owen.
Kenamat bets. Actually, excuse me, Owen bets. Kenamat calls, and can Joel really overcall here?
Yeah, I think it's an easy laydown. When Owen bets and Kenamat calls, you got to put one of these players on an ace. And I think it's an easy laydown.
And she lays it down, Dave.
Yeah.
Before, but I did wind up with a straight.
And this one's going to get chopped up here between the 2 aces. If Kenamat turns his hand over, and he does.
I've only
Yeah.
had deuces there, a single.
Bad beat. Owen had a commanding lead there on the turn.
Yep.
That's the hand I had.
I didn't want to send a deuce. I was happy with the
I just had to open it straight.
It's funny, you've been all over the world. You've never been to Paris.
No, I haven't.
I've never been to the aviation
No,
club.
no, I've never been to the aviation club. No.
Were you not playing much poker then?
6 times I've had
No, yeah, it wasn't. I've only been to Paris a couple of times, and I was not playing much poker then.
ace creates all kinds of eggs. No, I needed an ace.
Interesting. Got an email here from
The ace
the
is
Duke
better
saying
card
that
because they have to
he
call.
gave a link in Liz Lou's little blog on her website saying that the phenom named Vanessa Russo made a bitch of a slow roll on
Right,
Liz
and
Lou.
then he would have aces in
And I have
hand,
not
he would have aces in hand.
read that, but I assume that Liz Lou makes mention of that
But if you
somewhere
guys-
in her journal.
I'm going to check it out. Oh,
The ace come with another 10.
I was hoping it did too.
Button's going to move over here to seat 1.
I don't think I've ever seen deuces this many times in a 2-hour period. Oh, and there is
Call here by Steve with 7-3 of spades here under the gun. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot out here. We're halfway through the show.
3 hours.
Limped around 7 ways. Here we go to the flop. King 8 ace, and look at Steve. He's flopped a low flush, limping in with 7-3 of spades. Is he gonna bet out at it? Well, Owen is gonna bet with top pair, King 4 with no, actually his middle pair, King 4 with no spades. How can Steve not raise here? Unless maybe, I guess you wait. Could you wait to the turn to make a big bet raise and maybe drive out a high spade? Is that one way of doing it? He calls, and Kenamat raises with King Deuce with the deuce of spades. Now, if you're Steve, Steve is gonna 3-bet. He's gonna jam it up now. And everybody else is virtually drawing dead to a running full house. Steve has the highest spades in there. Nobody has higher than the 7 of spades. Turns a 7, and Steve now has the winner. And he's going to bet. Kenamat is going to call. And I don't even know what Owen was doing in there with the King 4.
New York time or Chicago time?
Anytime you want it to be.
How about a New York minute?
And he's out of there. And like you said, Kenamat is drawing totally dead here in this hand. River's an 8. I assume Steve's going to bet one more time.
Your cards aren't set right.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer bet here, obviously. So I just read this blog by Liz Liu talking about, what was her name?
Well, if you know I got a flush.
Vanessa Russo.
Vanessa Russo.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious now, after you read the blog, Bart.
Well, can you, do me a favor.
I'll
I'm not
paraphrase it.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
As Steve
Basically-
takes it down here with the flop flush.
Basically, let's see. Liz Liu had jacks full, I guess, or queens full of jacks. Either way you
Yeah.
want to say it. And on the river, Vanessa made quad
Got
queens.
lucky. I did get lucky.
Okay. When she moves all in with the quad queens, Liz Liu was put to the test, and she took a little while to make the call. Well, Vanessa actually called the clock on her. It wasn't another player. It was actually Vanessa who called the clock.
When Vanessa moved in with the queens.
Yes, she called the clock on Liz Liu. And then after Liz Liu decided to call, Vanessa said, "Nice hand," and then turned over quad queens.
Wow, that is a little bush.
Yeah, and now since
Nice
she did
hand.
it, since she did it to you, to your girl Liz.
Yeah, that's,
What do you think of her?
That if she pulled that is a little bushy.
Yeah.
Now, did Liz in her blog sound a little
Yeah.
perturbed by that? Like, who
definitely-
the hell is this chick?
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Yeah.
you know what? She said that a lot of players came up to her and actually talked to her about it, and it's like the new breed. A lot of people that come into the game
Yeah.
don't know any better.
Right.
And the funny thing is, having played online this last couple of times and over the weekend, and you see all these people kind of like, being really outright rude, you wonder if that's the new breed of poker player that are coming to the tables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, we got a 3-bet here by seat number 7. Kenamat limp 3-bet with queen 8 offsuit. As Harold had raised on the button with an ace-jack, and we're going to have a cap by Steve with ace-king. So we're going to see it capped 4 ways here. Wow, this is unbelievable. Actually, you know what? I think Steve pulled the limp cap. Limp, raise, 3-bet, call on the button, cap. 5-way action capped. Jack 8 deuce with a couple of diamonds, and Harold has the best hand here.
I know the type of guy you are. You like to bet.
Seat number 7 is going to lead out with queen 8. Mario calls with ace 4.
Pot's already big enough. You think, well, why should I raise it?
Seat number 2 is going to call. Harold just calls. Harold does not raise with the ace-jack. You wonder if he's going to try to wait or something for a safe card. Well, the turn's a diamond. It's a 6. Steve's got the second nut diamond flush draw. Mario's got the nut diamond flush draw. Kenamat continues to bet with queen 8. Harold just calls again. Steve now, again, he is virtually drawing dead here. He needs a king.
I gotta tell you, this is hysterical.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
I'm watching these hands, and you're actually doing your best.
I'm trying to follow it. Sam is going to continue to call here with a gut shot to the 9. We were talking about at least a 30 small bet pot here. Harold is still in the lead with ace-jack.
Well, not anymore.
And the
There's
river's
9.
a 9, and Sam with the queen 10 of spades wins it. Oh, my.
That is sickening.
Oh, my
I mean,
goodness.
you gotta look at that hand and you
And
go,
he checked it at the end. And Kenamat continues to bet with queen 8. Is Sam going to check raise the river? Is he scared of the flush? Maybe he's scared of the flush, but why would you be in there if you're scared of the flush?
yeah. I mean, he's got to look at it and go, I need a black 9 or the 9 of hearts, and that's it. And I still might not win.
Harold calls, and Sam is going
He's
to
not raising, is he?
just
No.
call. And he's going to take it down with the queen 10.
And this is about a $300 pot.
And Kenamat led on all 3 streets with queen 8. And Harold never raised Dave with the best hand. If he raises on the flop, Sam is out of there, I think.
Yeah,
I was waiting if maybe Harold was going to wait till a non-diamond to raise, but when I would raise that probably right away on the flop.
I mean, the only reason sometimes you might not want to raise it is if you're against an aggressive player and your head's up.
Yeah.
And you think they have nothing and they're bluffing and you want to let them bluff off their chips to you. Okay.
Right.
But with other players in the pot, your hand is definitely vulnerable. I mean, you only have top pair with an ace kicker. If a queen or a king come off, where are you then?
Luck of the Irish.
Now, it's funny, we got it, Surfing a Line, I put up a little poll there, and it was kind of an odd poll, though, because he says, what do you like better, no limit or limit? And that's not the question, because we already have no limit 3 days a week.
Right.
The question is, would you rather no limit all 5 days a week, or would you like one night of a limit?
Yeah.
Darn. So the diamond comes on dead dog. Huh? Dead dog like a dog.
Well, if. That's a lot of if there, you know. I was hoping for the 9, that's why I keep calling. I paid for it.
Button's going to move over here to seat number 4. And I got to read this negative post here, as it caught my eye by a new poster. Because we're always looking for the negative stuff. I can find it here.
Well, we do. I don't think anybody, when we
People
read the positive stuff, nobody
Right.
believes it.
Right, right,
We
right.
do get a lot of, obviously, positive email, and we appreciate it.
Right. 3-way action here. Ace-10 deuce here.
And
Rainbow.
Eric's got the best hand here. Is he going to bet it with Jack 10?
Well, seat number 6 is going to come out and bet. We can't see his hand because he's got chips over there. Maybe we can ask him to put him over. Well, he's going to take it down.
And he
there.
has,
Yeah,
he has
he's
a
got an
weak ace. Ace
Yeah.
4.
Bugle's mouth.
Not yet, not yet.
999.
Thanks for showing Limit on Mondays. At least I can get a good night's sleep. P.S. You guys sound like Valley girls discussing poker. Very irritating to listen to. Need to talk more about poker and much less about how great a player you both are. I can hear the sucking sounds in the background. Really, you two are almost unbearable. It's a good thing I love watching the live action.
Wow.
Well,
Well,
thank you.
do me a favor and email us with what you really think, please. Like I said, we do read the positive stuff, and we do read the negative stuff.
Yep.
The wonderful thing about computers is if you don't like us, you can still watch the show and mute us.
Oh, it's just lovely.
Button's going to move over here to seat 4. And an open limp here in the... Well, no, just a limp here in the cutoff by Queen Jack. Mario's had limped in with Queen 5 of diamonds.
And that's a hand that I'm going to open limp. Actually, even in late position, I might raise that.
10-6 for you with a couple spades. Sam's got a straight draw and a flush draw here.
Yep. 7 of spades is his gin card.
Home to do it.
A bet here by Owen gets checked to him. He bets.
Now, this is the kind of hand that I don't mind raising with 2 or 3 opponents in there. 5-8, 5 of spades.
He calls. Turns at 10. No one has a pair here. Still.
No, and if Sam fires hard, he might take this down.
You're going to bet?
Well, Owen's going to continue to bet. He was the pre-flop better. He's going to bet again.
I can't imagine.
I got a nice draw.
All this dry
And Sam has not been aggressive. Sam's not going to let... Wait, Sam called with Queen 10.
Yeah, that is amazing.
And here with
folds.
8-5 of spades, he lets them... And the river was the 7 of hearts, and he would have gotten there with a straight.
I forgot. I know
Amazing.
his simple name. Steve. I need to borrow $1,000, Steve. You couldn't possibly tell me you don't have it because I'm looking at it. So, can I borrow it?
Man,
You know, I actually.
unbelievable.
Oh, yeah, I watched it. You were sweating bullets.
No, he did work hard for it. He took hard.
In
He
this
took a lot of money.
in this type of environment, it's a lot of hard work to get something like that.
You can catch us tomorrow night, live at the bike, 7 p.m. Pacific time for No Limit Hold'em.
Yep.
Not quite sure exactly what it'll be, probably 3 to 500.
You gotta get lucky.
You gotta get real lucky.
And
And then obviously Wednesday's our big whale game, 25-50 blinds.
$1,000.
one of my good friends.
And supposedly Don S. from Friday's show is going to be here for
Yes,
Wednesday.
the overcall with the ace-6 is going to be
Yes,
here on
exactly.
Wednesday.
If you missed Friday's show,
Yep.
I played
this guy
Derek
overcalled
Sandler.
$1,500 with top pair. That's it, just top pair.
Yeah.
On a deuce 4-6 board.
Limped around here, 7, 7, 8.
I said I prefer it.
Now, no one has a 7. Mario's got Queen 8, and he's going to come out and lead.
Now,
Joel calls.
Joel's open-ended here with 5-6.
Get $1,000.
Nah, this is
Owen is going to call with Jack 5 of spades. I got to tell you, I really like Alicia's game. She hasn't done anything out of line all night.
No,
C5.
not really at all.
Yep.
Not sure if she's up or down, but
Turns at 3. Well, Owen's picked up backdoor spades.
I
And
mean, I'm assuming that's what he's in there for, to pick up a draw.
Queen 8 calls, and Joel calls.
my hands hold.
And here we go to the river.
That's hard to do.
And the river's a spade,
Wow.
and Joel makes a straight.
And you know what? You wouldn't think the spade hurt anybody, right?
Is she going to raise here?
She's thinking about it, though. You know what? I think
Oh,
she's
she's
just
just
going
going
to
to call. Now, is Owen going to raise from behind? He does. Mario, who led on the river, rightly folds, and she calls. What a gin card on the river.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And I got to tell you, that's sometimes the problem with going for You know, obviously, I mean, it had to be runner spade for her to lose here, but she goes for a straight with a paired board and 2 diamonds out there. Now, what if the 4 diamonds had come out? I mean, how do you know if you're good there either?
I was. That's why I made my straight.
Email here by Terrence Riley. He says, Limit's fun to watch. Keep up the good work. I like the variety of games. Thank you.
Get an email here from John.
Button's going to move over here to seat number 6. That is Sam. And Alicia here is going to... Oh, here we go. First kind of questionable. Well, let's see here. Alicia open limps here in seat 5 with ace 3 or 6. I'm probably going to bring that one in for a raise if I'm going to play it. King 8-4 here, rainbow.
Do I have these set wrong?
And everybody, looks like everybody misses. Joelle's going to lead with Jack 4. She got a free ride in the blind. And she's going to take it down. New player coming into seat 7.
Yeah, we say goodnight to Kenamat.
His name is Mike. There with the hat. So what did John have to say here?
John pretty much first time writer,
Yep.
but he watches the show pretty regularly, and he wants to say that we do a good job. Thanks a lot, John. And he looks like he wants to make a parody. Basically something, you going crazy about some hand, and then me saying something along the lines of, you know that sometimes you just can't take a piss when someone is looking over your shoulder at your pecker. So we'll see what happens with that.
I want to write a little note to my kids.
Sometimes you can't be dealing if Puggy Pearson's at the table because he might piss on you, too.
Exactly.
Yeah. He might pull
Actually,
it out.
I read a great article over the weekend about Puggy. Eric Peterson says here, hey, don't worry about it. Don't worry about pleasing everybody, just me.
Boy, that really
You guys have a good mix of games through the week.
pushes them in the middle of the table. Good idea, Steve.
Keep it up.
I'm all in.
Good move.
Thanks a lot, Eric. Appreciate it.
Now, it looks like Owen here has just limped in with pocket 8s. Is this a hand that you're going to bring in for a raise in this low limit game, or are you just going to... What is your cutoff point here, Dave, in a low limit game like this? Now, in a tough game, I fold 8s pretty easily. Usually my cutoff point's right around 9s. He limps in here. Now, Queen, Jack, 9 here with a couple spades. It's interesting because we often talk about in limit. I don't like to limp in with small pocket pairs from up front, but maybe in this game I would. So 8s might fall into that range.
Well, you limp in here kind of hoping to induce 4 or 5 other people to limp in.
Eric comes out and bets with an open-ended straight draw, and he bets again. And Owen still has the best hand. The turn paired the Jack. It's a 3rd spade. I don't really know what Owen could beat, but he continues to call. Jack of spades here on the turn. And the river's a king, and Eric gets there.
Yeah.
He bet in with this open-ended straight draw, and he gets there. And I assume he's going to bet one more time. And now I think Owen really realizes that there is absolutely nothing he can beat now.
Well, now he can't beat that 10
Yeah.
if you think the guy was on just a 10. The problem is, though, if the guy was on a 10, wouldn't you think maybe he's on, like, 10 Jack, 10 9, 10 Queen, I mean, something like that?
Got a little over an hour left in the show here. Button's going to move over here to seat number 9. That is Joelle. Joelle has played pretty well. I mean, she's made some questionable plays. I got to tell you, I think Alicia's pretty much played mistake-free. I really haven't seen her do anything that we have had a problem with
And
the
obviously
entire night.
She's probably not up tonight, but you really can't judge a limit hold'em player
Right.
by one session, and especially not 2 hours of one session.
And Steve here is going to bring this. Steve's going to bring this one in for a raise. He's got pocket 10s. Owen open limps with ace jack offsuit. Mike is going to cold call 2 bets with pocket deuces.
Wow.
And
I like the play by Steve. I like raising it up with 10s. I mean, I
Absolutely.
think 10s are definitely above that
I
threshold.
think I would raise with ace jack there. Maybe try to limit the. Well, then again, at this table, it's kind of tough. 3-4-7 here with all diamonds.
Steve continues here.
Now Owen's got the highest diamond here. This is probably an easy fold here for Mike without a diamond.
Now,
Pocket
Owen's
deuces.
actually a favorite over Steve here. He's got overcards plus the diamond draw.
And Mike calls here with pocket deuces without a diamond. Owen calls.
What does he want to hit?
Turns is 6. Steve
I mean,
is still
is he
good
calling
here.
specifically for the deuce of spades? He's going to bet it.
No. Steve bet. Steve
Oh,
continues
okay.
to bet here with 10s.
And Mike's going to call again.
Yeah, he continues to call with deuces.
Wow. And you know what? Steve's persistence and Mike's
Yeah.
calling I think gets Owen out. And look at that, the
And
jack of spades on the river.
River would have been a jack, and ace jack would have gotten there with the best hand. And you know what? Is Mike going to bet? He bet. Steve's going to bet here again. And is Mike going to call on all 3 streets here with deuces? Maybe putting this guy on like a high diamond, ace king?
See, the thing is, if you don't call here,
What was the point of calling on the turn, right?
Right.
That's what I.
well, then you're admitting you were probably behind, and you're calling for what? You're calling
You know, it's-
specifically for the deuce of
It's
spades.
funny. I think that sometimes people might think our commentary is a little bit strange in that fact, but if you call the turn, I think you have to call the river. But you shouldn't have called the turn.
Right.
But once you call the turn, what's the point of folding on the river? It was the same thing with that aces hand
Yeah.
when he called the check raise, right? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, it really makes no sense
Yeah.
there. Because then, by folding the river, you're admitting that you basically knew you were behind, and you're calling for your
And
one
you
out.
put yourself in such a situation now on the river. Is there like a 1 in 10 or 11 chance that Steve might have bet ace king with the ace or the
diamonds.
king of diamonds a couple times? I think you have to call there, right?
I mean, you probably don't even call the flop. Actually,
No.
you don't even probably call free flop
No,
with deuces.
you're not going to cold call 2 bets cold with deuces. Especially when a bunch of people had folded in between. Now, Eric is raised here out of the blind with ace king of clubs. King 8 and queen deuce are in there.
Oh, nice flop raise king.
Yeah, he's got overcards and a flush draw.
And he'll make continuation bet, and assuming Mario is going to fold, Owen's going to call this with king 8. And now, oh, look at that. What a draw.
Owen hits the gut shot here, and it's a
Yeah.
non-club gut shot.
Yeah, he was actually open-ended.
Oh, you're right. He was open-ended.
Yeah.
And actually, Owen had led on the flop, and the river is a 9. And he bets here again, and Eric has, actually got that wrong. Owen led. Eric, I do not think, raised the flop.
No,
He just called. And then he just called on the turn, too. So that was a
What a
little...
terrible beat.
Yeah, that is...
And that's a terrible beat. Look at that.
Yeah, he...
They're sharing the king. I mean, Owen needs
That is
an
really...
offsuit 9 or an offsuit 4 to win that hand.
Yeah, that is really, really
I guess
bad.
an 8 would have done it as well, but
Actually, interesting email from Barry Woods. He said, I played the Aviation Club last summer. Their dress code is extremely lax. Blue jeans, T-shirts, and jackets as cover-ups. It was still better than some other casinos in LA's dress code. But smoking is so prevalent inside the club that I was dying after a couple of hours. I got to tell you, that's probably a big difference.
yeah.
I mean,
I couldn't play. I could not
Yeah.
play in a casino where...
screw the dress code. If it's smoking inside and you can't get away from that, that's going to
No,
be really
it kills
irritating.
you. I mean, I don't care how good the game is.
Yeah. Joel was raised here with ace, queen of hearts.
To your left.
And we got 4-way action here. 8-3 deuce here. Now Steve has got a flush draw. He's got king high flush draw here.
Yeah,
with king
Mario's
5.
got top pair. Top kicker. In limit hold'em, that's a pretty big hand here. Mario's going to have to fire this. And he did not bet it. Wow. Mario did not bet the flop, and now he's betting the turn. After he makes aces up. I can't believe he did not bet the flop, though.
And now she's going to race with ace queen. And do you 3-bet here? I mean, I think you have... Joel, I think you got checked around the flop. Am I
Yeah,
correct?
exactly.
I think that this is a mandatory 3-bet for Mario. You
Well,
put
you know,
Joel on a high ace, and you've got aces up here.
Well, it's funny. Mario actually checked it to her, thinking that she would bet because she was the pre-flop raiser with
Yeah.
ace-queen. When she didn't get the bet in there, now he makes aces up and he fires in
He's
there.
got a 3-bet here. You put her on a high ace. That's exactly what she has.
Now, this is one of those times, it's a raise. Now, there's a raise pre-flop, but there was no bet on the flop, and now Steve is facing the double bet on the turn. I
4
don't think
small
he
bets.
can call this.
Yeah, 4 small bets. I don't think the pot is big enough. And one of his outs was actually, if it hits the ace of spades, it's no good. He's going to call. I say you got a 3-bet here if you're Mario with ace 8. It's such an obvious 3-bet.
Yeah, easy.
And he is going to 3-bet.
And it's a great
nice
3-bet
play.
here. And she's going to call, and now
Yeah.
Steve's got to put another bet in there,
Yeah.
and he can't go anywhere.
And again, one of his spade outs is no good. If it's the ace of spades, it's no good.
And if Mario can dodge a queen or a spade,
Yep.
he's in good shape here. Let's see what happens.
Here we go to the river. And the river's a 7, and Mario should bet here again for value. He
Oh,
bets.
definitely.
Joel makes the call.
I mean, I got to say, sometimes you can play it a little cautiously if a king or a queen were to come on the river and you put your opponent on a big ace.
And Steve says he knows he should have folded. But you make a great point. When there's no money put in on the flop, Steve, in essence, I mean, let's take a look at what the pot odds were there. It was a raised pot, and there were only, 3 people in there?
Yeah.
So you're talking about 6 small bets. No bets went in on the flop. Now there's a big bet on the turn and a raise. he needs to call, in essence, 4 small bets to win
Good hand.
12. The pot has
I should've
12,
made all that
so he's getting 3 to 1.
plus implied odds. Actually, it's not that bad a
Well,
call.
it's close. I mean, you only get 1 bet at the end, though, right? So you get, I mean, you're getting... yeah,
2 small bets in the end.
right. So you're going to, you're
So
trying
you
to
figure
call
you get
4
called at
small
least
bets.
you get called in at least one spot.
4 small bets to win 14. So it's about
you're getting 3.5.
3.5. It's real close. Not
Yeah.
quite there, though, I don't think, Dave.
No, probably not. With 1 card to come.
Yeah, yeah.
And you've got to realize that somebody might have a set, somebody might have 2 pair.
Yeah.
You also might have to face a raise behind you as well. You don't know.
Now, Alicia here, I believe it was limped around. She's going to bet out. She's got top 2, ace-6. She comes out and bets right away.
And you got to like that play.
Now, Mike calls with king-queen.
And Owen calls with 8s.
And she's in great shape. Pocket 4s is in there, Joel.
Oh, look at that.
Oh,
Owen
my
spikes his 8.
goodness. Owen catches his 2-outer on the turn.
I mean, that's just brutal.
Oh, wow. Unbelievable.
Really is brutal. And Alicia's only got 2 outs here. She's got to catch an ace and only an ace.
If he raises here, I mean, I guess you could put him on a set of deuces, but would you ever 3-bet here, still thinking that he could have ace-8 as well, I
You know,
guess?
the problem is it's Owen bet raising.
Yeah. When she calls, she needs an ace or a 6 wouldn't do it. The river's a
No,
10.
6 would not do. Just an ace.
Oh, this just makes you sick. After she's played so well all night long,
Yeah.
he catches the 2-outer here on the turn. Wow. Yep.
Yeah, and you know what? She puts her hands up in kind of disgust there, shakes her head, and she really did nothing wrong there.
Yeah.
She's actually, like you said, she's played pretty well tonight. That just goes with it. That's letting it hold. You know?
Chips and 0-0.
And Boondoggle says here, he says the show blows tonight. It's nothing to do with you guys, and we don't take it personal. Don't worry. We just, like we always say, we would like to read the positive and the negative. And fair enough, you don't like limit hold'em, no big deal.
CW Siggy writes, I just saw a commercial for Annie Duke Takes on the World. Looks like the worst poker show ever. First week in May, I think on the Game Show Network, Annie Duke versus a bunch of tools with her giving advice.
I'd like to play her. I'd love to play Annie Duke.
I just thought that was funny the way that
Yeah.
it was written out. Actually, we had a girl on the show, and I forget her name. We actually interviewed her after the show, maybe a month or 2 ago. She is on one of the first episodes of that show. She played in the 200 game. She's around the bike a lot. I totally forget her name.
Really?
She's been on the show once, and she said she was on one of those shows.
Annie Duke takes on the world.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, in the middle of the hands, does she give advice?
I don't know.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, I got to tell you, one of the funniest things was watching the Heads Up tournament between when they did Negreanu against Evelyn Ing. Negreanu's telling Evelyn Ing what to do. Oh, I would have called with that. She's like, really? Oh, you got to throw this hand away. She's like, really? You got to see this.
Really?
Yeah, it was the first round. Evelyn Ing against Daniel Negreanu. They
The
drew
NBC
randomly.
heads up match?
Yeah.
Really? Wow. And that was an invite-only heads-up match, but you still had to pay
They
20
were,
grand
yeah,
to get
they
in.
were. There were 2 online qualifiers. I'm not exactly sure how it went.
But it was still their money that had to put in there, right?
I don't know. Queen Deuce Deuce here. It was limped around. No one has any of this. And seat 9 is going to bet out here Joelle as a total bluff. She's in position. And we have a call here by Mike with ace-9. Turns a king. Maybe she takes a card here. He checks, and she checks right behind him.
I didn't take it.
And the river's a 3, and ace-high is going to win this one.
Yeah. You wonder if
Now, would
Chicken-
he check a deuce twice? Nah, she's just going to give up here.
Yeah. Would you wonder if Chicken Tender is onto something here? A live Liz Lou, Vanessa Russo cat fight. Now that could draw viewers, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Ratings?
Especially in this confined booth. Definitely.
Did Ken and Matt actually go broke?
I think he walked away with like a little, some small amount of chips.
Because he did have like 3 racks.
Yeah.
Built his stack up to $600 and then went through it really quick. I mean, our big winners tonight are probably Owen. Actually, is a big winner. He won that huge pot with a set of 9s. Owen straight out of Staten Island. Owen came out of there.
This one's actually going to get chopped up here, Dave. Did you live in New York City for any period of time?
I did. I lived down at Bleecker in 7th for about 6 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Were you doing a little acting, a little theater work, or anything
No,
like that?
I was just getting away.
Yeah.
I was. What was I
That's way
doing?
downtown, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was I doing? I was just hanging out for 6 months. I think I did a couple of little student films, like NYU films, but nothing really to speak of. I was just drinking.
Three-way action here. 9-6 deuce limped around.
I came to the conclusion that as much as I like New York City, it's a nice place to visit. I don't want to live there.
Got a bet here by Eric with queen 6, and he is going to take it down there. Well, wait a minute. We had a call there by 7-10. She had a gut shot to the 8. Now, that's a questionable call. Now she's out of there. Again, a pot that is not raised, you don't really have odds to chase a gut shot there for
No,
one
of
small
course
bet.
not.
And he takes it down
Especially
there.
the
Sorry.
double 2 flush out there.
Yeah.
You never know. Maybe your opponent is betting the flush draw. You get there, you catch your gut shot, and he catches his flush.
Ken, you can email us at live at the bike. Questions, comments, suggestions, always appreciated.
Yeah.
Become our MySpace friend, myspace.com. We're playing a little bit short here. Buttons moved over here to seat 9.
Well, good to see Michael, SB surfing on the 2+2 forum. You know, he hasn't come in a while. Where are you, Michael?
Four-way action here. Limped around. King 4-4 here on the flop, and everybody's missed.
You're lying.
And it looks like Sam here has bet with ace high, and he's going to take it down there. There it is.
Now, it's funny here. Shady Poker on 2+2 says, hey, Barry Wood said the dress code was lax at Aviation Club. Interesting. I got rejected twice for having jeans, and they wouldn't let me in until I bought some black shoes. Well, you know, if you play poker like Barry Woods, they let you in anywhere. Wearing whatever you want to wear.
I wash my hands 100%.
Oh, man. I can't get over the fact that Barry called Dr. Beaver on Friday night with King 7.
Where'd you get that statistic?
Remember that? King 7?
Yeah.
I
You
never
were
heard
standing
that.
behind him or what?
You were
Open limp here. Jack 9 by seat 9. And look at this. Harold does not raise here. Three-handed with ace king suited.
Yeah, I mean, that's a
Out
hand
of the small blind.
That's a hand I'm definitely going to raise for value, and I really want to drive either Owen out in the big blind.
And an ace flops, and it looks like he might go for the check raise. No, he check calls here. Is he going for the check raise on the turn? Owen's got a flush draw. And now he picks up a spade draw, and it goes check, check.
Yeah, it's amazing. I don't know what Harold's doing.
Wow. Yeah, I do not know what Harold was doing that hand.
Here. Yeah. Now, the funny thing is, I think it's a clear raise with ace king there. You either drive Owen out, or you charge him to stay in there. Now, you know, Harold got lucky that the club did not come.
Right.
But he also didn't charge Owen to get there.
He made the minimum. I mean, he flopped
Absolute
ace
minimum.
king, did not raise pre-flop, did not check call the flop, check the turn, bet on the river, and didn't get called.
Owen's got to love it. He got a free ride. He almost got a flush
Yeah.
out of it.
Again, we're playing 8-16 limit hold'em. Green chips are $2 chips. Rack of greens 200. Stack of greens 40. Good old king queen suited here for Joelle in seat number
9.
9. I assume she is going to raise here.
Yeah, I think she announced it. No, she's just.
Oh, she's
wow.
all in.
Oh, okay.
She's all in.
The guy that took all my chips.
Wow, and she was up a lot too early. Remember
Yeah.
when she won, like, she won 2 or 3 hands in a row.
Queen 5-4 here, and Joelle's got top pair. So, and Alicia's going to come out and bet here.
Well, she's going to help protect her friend's hand.
And Owen calls with a 4, turns a 9.
And
Check,
Joelle's
check.
going to take this down with king queen.
Yep.
Now, remember earlier, Joelle actually had a couple of big hands. She made a straight with 9-7. And she also, she won another big hand. What was that other big hand she won, like back-to-back? She won 2 hands in a row, where she literally ended up, I mean, she probably had a rack and a half in front of her, which is, you know, probably close to $300. Now she's down to about, what, $30?
Well, we're going to play it short here. Again, we're going to continue to go on here. Hopefully we don't lose this game. People, powers that be are out there. Hear me on the floor.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, you know, Joelle, she's real short here. If Joelle gets knocked out of this,
What is the jackpot?
gets knocked out here, and Steve doesn't jump back in this game might die.
Yeah, we actually don't have our floor hostess tonight, Donna.
You and I can go out there and play heads up for a little while.
And I love it when the game gets short, people just start to get up. Like, they don't...
The game's over.
Yeah, yeah.
Jack
Jack
7-9.
7-9 here on the flop.
Alicia's still the best hand. But she's not going to put any money in the pot. Now a king comes. She still has the best hand, and she's still not going to put any money in the pot. And it's going to check around again. And the river's a 3 of diamonds, and Alicia still has the best hand. And she's given a free ride to ace 10 and a free ride to 5-7, and she's escaped.
Yep.
I mean, I really think that flop she could have put a little money in right away. If she got called, okay, well, then you got to reevaluate.
Familiar, sir?
Yes.
The one you really
I love them. This is my favorite card.
She's got a full tilt poker shirt on there.
Oh, remember? Okay, Joelle won those 2 hands in a row. She won straight with 9-7, and then she limped in with 9-3 and caught trips.
That's right, right.
And right
She got
after
the
those
check
2
raise.
hands in a row, she had a lot of money. But she made some real loose calls. I mean, we're talking about that capped with pocket deuces.
Yeah, she was kept staying in there.
Yeah, straight draws. She went for with a 2 flush out there.
Right.
You know, and if you do that too much in limit hold'em, you're gonna go broke.
the camera, so that's going to be a personal problem for the camera. isn't it?
Huh?
Button's going to move over here to seat 5.
This is great here. I mean, EG, we get a great email from EG. He says, "Don't take away my limit. Limit arouses me sexually. 3-bet is my safe word." Cheers, EG. Well, thanks a lot, EG. Thank you for sharing, okay?
Seat 9 looks like she's raised herself all in here with pocket 10s.
Well, looks like maybe she'll double up again here. She's in good shape.
And Alicia's got 7s, and Steve's in there with Jack 9. Queen 3 deuce here.
Yeah, she's still in great shape here.
Gets checked to Alicia. She bets. And Steve calls with Jack 9. Turns an ace. Well, Steve's got a 9 high club draw now. Check, check. And the river's a jack. Are you kidding me?
Hey, you wonder what Steve is calling with. The flop is queen, deuce 3 with 2 clubs out there. He's got Jack 9. I'm getting word that's a tournament move. I'm busy. I'm busy taking notes here.
Right.
So this is another tournament move. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna write this down here. Tourney moves. Okay.
Pajato. What are you
There.
doing here, buddy? I hope you're not backing this guy for a limit tournament.
This is tourney moves.
3 over cards. I guess it's just a turn when you left.
Yeah, if she would have made a bet, I might have had to get out.
See, you can't even see. Oh, there it is. Tourney moves.
Tournament moves.
I'm busy taking notes. Okay. Call with Jack 9.
I had something.
Okay. Check raise when you get there. There we go. I'm ready for the World Series. Okay.
Button moves over here to seat 6.
Who's gonna back me? I mean, armed with this kind of knowledge.
I don't usually go all in with absolutely nothing.
Limp here by Button. 5-6 of spades, and we're going to see 4-way action here.
Mike has shuffled his way over to seat 6.
Jack 8-6 here. Wow, nice flop here for Mike. Now Harold's got top pair. Mike's got a pair and a flush draw. And Joelle is going to lead out with Jack 5, but Harold, he should probably raise here with Queen Jack. He just calls.
Yeah, and that's another
And
play
Mike
by
could really raise here, but he just calls.
See, this is the play by Harold where he needs to raise that with Queen Jack. I really think he needs to raise that and protect yourself. And
She's
he's
going to
still
continue to bet. He continues to call, and Mike folds. The
Wow.
speed draw and the pair. And the river's a queen, and Harold makes queens up.
And Joelle's going to go broke here.
Orange chips.
She's going to lose all her chips.
Yeah,
Merry Christmas.
Queen Jack is good here.
Get your queen on the river. Another river.
Oh, yeah.
I had a jack.
Actually, he's not broke. He didn't raise the river, Dave. She has more chips behind him. He did not raise the river. I really don't know what he's scared of there.
Wow, maybe he's just soft playing a girl. I don't know.
Sometimes you get that luxury, as Shirley would often say.
Kind of odd.
Button's going to move over here to seat number 9. And we got another player that's momentarily coming over to the table.
Worse than being in the joint.
When I get a little older, I hope I still look healthy like you.
Jack 9 offsuit here for seat 1. Now, Alicia's got Queen 10, Dave. She's 1 off the button. We're playing short. I wouldn't mind her. She's going to open. I wouldn't mind raising there, but she just limps.
A little bit.
I mean, she's 2 off the button. She just limps in. And when you're playing short-handed limit, I'm almost never going to open limp. I don't really open limp in a full game either.
Yeah, I mean, once in a while in a game like this, when it's somewhat passive and loose,
Right.
you can open limp, but I agree with you. I mean, generally speaking, you're raising or folding.
6-6-3 on the flop turns an 8. And now Eric is going to come out and bet here.
Harold's open-ended, and if Harold will raise this, he'd take it down.
Well, he just calls. Now Eric's going to have to follow through, and the river's an ace. Both players miss.
Well, Eric doesn't have to follow through. Jack High will win this.
Yeah, but Eric checks, and Harold is going to bluff bet here on a missed draw.
Wow, and he takes it.
Well, he might represent the spade there. It's a nice bet there
Definitely.
by Harold, and he's going to take it down there. Obviously, the overcard is no good.
Right.
The ace coming in the river might be another scare card. Say if maybe seat 1 was betting out on a 3 on the turn.
Nice
right?
bluff by Harold. I mean, he kind of forced himself to bluff there.
Yeah. Got about 40 minutes left in the show here.
Yep. Stars and Stripes tournament today, by the way, is our Stars and Stripes actually runs through April 30th. And today was half Hold'em, half stud.
Yeah.
And, no, I'm sorry, it was EO. I'm sorry, it was half stud high-low, half Omaha high-low. So, yeah, that's right. And tomorrow is Pot Limit Hold'em, $200 entry tournament. Wednesday's a pretty good tournament. It's No Limit Hold'em, $300 tournament. And these all start at 4:15 p.m.
6-way action here, limped around.
Check them out.
6 deuce 4 rainbow.
Well, Joelle's got top pair. And is this the hand she's going to commit her chips to? Now, Joelle rebought a little bit, I think. She must have done a short buy for maybe $40. I don't know exactly what.
No, remember, she never went broke. I told you she had a
I
stack.
thought she went broke against her pocket tens, though, against
Oh.
Steve.
Well, she's going to take it down there. She actually made 2 pair on the river.
No, not Jacob.
And she takes it down.
Get an email about the Inside Straight. They wanted to know what's going on with that. The Inside Straight, just so you know, the Inside Straight is kind of a poker roundtable where we answer your questions. You email questions into us. We try to pick the 3 or 4 most interesting ones, and we ask some of our local pros how they would do it, what they would do at in that situation. And we did marches with George Georgian, the great poker god, and Hav, and Nicole Pepe. And you can access that by going to the archives.
Right.
And April's is going to be filmed, actually, later on this week.
Hopefully in April.
Actually, later on this week.
Okay. 5-way action here. King, Jack 5 limped around. Got a Jack 6 there for Mike. Nobody has a king here. And going to get a bet out here by... Is it by Jacob here with Queen 5? He's going to bet out. And that might do it here. Well, Mike is going to check call here with Jack 6, Steve. He has the best hand. The turn's another king. That might make Mike stay around even more. He checks. And we know Jacob. We've seen him on the show before. Jacob's going to bet. And Mike is going to call. And I guess you've got to either put this guy on a flush draw or a jack. And I don't think there's a whole lot of value to betting this river. If he's got a flush draw he's missed, you check behind him with Queen 5. If he has a jack, he has you beat, and he's probably going to call.
The problem is at this level, though, you never know. Jacob might call it a 5.
No, what I am saying is that Mike check called the flop.
Oh, I see what you mean.
And
There's no
Jacob
value
bet
for
the
Jacob
turn.
betting.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I see what you mean, yeah.
New player coming into seat 7, and I know this gentleman. I'll get his name. He actually plays a lot of Omaha. Ricky. I played with him 30-60 Omaha a lot. Kind of a loose player.
How you doing, Rick?
Button's going to move over here to seat 3.
I have a funny story that I got into a I guess you could call it a verbal altercation with seat number 7.
Did you really? I would never have thought that you would get into any type of verbal altercation with somebody.
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
The
really.
way that you talk at the table,
Yeah,
right?
it's phenomenal.
Right? I always think it's funny because if you ever see Dave and I at the table, I think we're polar opposites. I'm kind of quiet, almost like...
Like a
You know,
shark
you wouldn't,
lurking.
well, you wouldn't even know that I'm there. Whereas you hear you from like halfway across the poker hall. But I think the banter is part of your whole thing. Jack 7 deuce here, rainbow. We had a raise, I believe, by Eric with ace 10.
Well, he still has the best hand, but let's see if he continue. He's going to throw a bet out there, and that'll probably take it down.
It should. Everybody should fold here.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those times where, if you're Mike here, there's really no value to calling, but he's going to throw some money in there.
Mike calls, and again, part of the problem. Well, the turn's a jack. Part of the problem here is I think that Eric might take. No, Eric doesn't take the card. Even if Eric took the card, I don't necessarily think that Mike would bluff into the river. I think it might just go check, and Mike would
And he's
Eric would
calling
win.
again.
But he's going to call again.
Wow, and the 10 plays here.
Yeah. And the river's a queen.
The
and
10 still plays.
10's going to play.
It's your best 5 cards, and Eric's got pair of jacks,
And Eric
queen,
is
ace
going to
10.
bet. He thinks he needs to bet. I don't mind the bet. Obviously, you think you probably heard from this guy if he had a jack. The only thing is that could you get a guy to lay down a 7? The reason why I don't mind the bet is because it's another overcard on the river. But again, you don't necessarily give a lot of credit, necessarily to some of the players in this game. Could you get him to lay down a 7 at the river?
Well, that's the problem with it. The board was jack 7 deuce rainbow.
Rainbow, right.
The guy calls me twice. I got to go, okay, this guy must have a jack, or not a jack. This guy must have a 7 or a deuce.
Can I get him to lay it down for one extra bet when a queen comes at the end?
I don't think I'd bet that.
Right.
I'd think, okay, you got me, buddy. I'm not going to
Yeah.
get you to lay it down.
Yeah.
Because I assume when the guy calls me on a turn, he doesn't believe me.
Right.
Okay, you got me. What can I do? I'd certainly bet it for value if I had a queen or a jack or
Right.
an overpair. But I might just shut down and not lose any more money on it.
We had a raise here by King Queen Eric in seat 1, and he's flopped a king. And Joel is called with bottom pair here with no club. The turn's a 9. Eric continues to bet, and Joel continues to call with no club. And the river here is a 9. It's a 3rd club, and he checks it down there. Well, I'm not exactly sure what Joel was thinking there. Yeah, she says she's on tilt a little bit here. And she's still got a little money left. Button's going to move over here to seat 5. Alicia. Again, he can stick around for tomorrow's game. 300 to 500, no limit hold'em. 5 blinds. Best restricted buy-in, no limit game in town. Definitely. Check it out tomorrow night. Of course, we stream live cash games every Monday through Friday from 7 to 10 Pacific time.
Happened to the Rays?
Big game on Wednesday, 25-50, no limit.
Okay, you sucked us in now.
Joella's got an ace-king of clubs here. She just limped.
That induced
It's actually
unfair play on
ace-king
my
of
part.
clubs.
The Rays, and I was
And we're going to see
now you got
7-way
players in
action
there
here.
that probably shouldn't be.
Ace 7-7. So Joel has hit the ace. 2 other people have aces. Mike has an ace, and Steve has ace 4. Nobody has a 7.
And we never make mistakes.
And a
Ever.
bet out here by Mike, and Joel raises.
I made a mistake.
And is this going to save Steve? I mean,
And I'm
what
not
can ace
sarcastic.
4 beat here?
I'm telling it like it is.
Sometimes you gotta
I
fold.
fold.
Perfection
Did you
is
see me
hard to
fold?
come by.
Did you see me fold? Did you see me run for the hills?
Sometimes you gotta fold a good hand, huh?
Sometimes you do, Steve. Sometimes you gotta loan your friend the $1,000 they
I can
asked
lay
for
down
too.
again.
And Steve is going to lay down ace 4. Big lay down. Mike calls with ace
All
5.
right, so I got 7 chips.
Turns a king.
I'll be terribly upset.
And Joel is going to put it all in here. And Mike can pretty
Like,
much
see the
chop
epitome of
here
my bad beats this
with a king or a 7, right? A king or a 7 would chop it up. And that's it. And the river is a jack.
That was the case.
There it is. Ace king is going to take it down there.
I did. I was gonna. No, actually, I'm stuck so bad. I didn't want to overjump the gun. So I figured if you raise, I'll just call yours, and you'll get rid of the people for me.
I had
And
an
then when
ace.
you didn't, then you let people in, and then I
Button's going to move over here to seat 6.
really didn't appreciate the fake out that you did.
Actually, a king would not have done it for her there at the end. She only needed a 7. You only needed a 7 there to chop.
Okay, you're just playing catch up.
Button's going to move to seat 6 here. Ace queen for Jacob. And seat 9 is still kicking
I'm
around.
laying down my ace 4.
Still kicking around after she won that hand. Pocket 6s here for Steve.
Is she not tilting anymore?
Gonna limp. Doesn't look like it. She just won. She didn't raise with ace king suited, but she did win the hand.
Okay.
4-way action here. Limped around. King jack 8. Now Jacob did not raise with ace queen out of the small blind, but now he's gonna bet out though. Interesting.
Well, it's not a terrible spot to bet there. If you bet it one time, you've got a gut shot, plus you've got an overcard.
I'm going to tell you, if
an
I'm
unraised
if
pot.
I'm Joel there with Jack 6,
106.
it's usually a fold for me. If I'm going to play it, I think you have to raise, don't
Definitely,
you?
without a
It's
doubt.
either a fold or a raise. And it gets checked around the turn. The river's a 3, and Jack 6 is good.
First man over wins. Oh, 8.
And there it is.
Oh, I-
Jack
Okay,
is
so
going to win.
funny little story here. Now I'm playing again. I'm playing with Ricky in stud high low. Okay,
I gotta make
he
sure
raises, and I re-raise with an ace showing. Okay, clearly representing pocket aces. It
Or
folds.
split aces.
Split aces.
Right,
Thank you.
right.
It folds around. He calls. Okay.
Yep.
I then catch an ace.
I'm telling you, man, I
Okay.
can't any card.
So I'm representing 3 aces. I'm showing 2 aces already.
Right.
But at worst, I've got like ace 4 5.
You might have you might have aces with like 2 or 3 suited wheel cards under.
Exactly. It's a
yeah.
monster for stud high low.
Right.
He has a 10 showing, by the way. Okay. He catches like a queen. Okay. He checks. I bet, and he looks at it and he goes, "You know what? I should lay this down, but I'm going to call because I think you're an unlucky guy." Sure enough, he calls me. Okay. I end up making no low. I did have
Did you make
aces
aces
with
up
4
at least?
5s. I made nothing. I made
Oh,
aces.
man.
That was it. He made 2 pair and beat
Oh
me.
man.
And I have
Okay.
no shame.
So what did you have underneath? Just 3 low cards.
Ace 4 5.
Ace 4 5. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Well, at least she's got pocket kings. Here.
But I thought it was a good enough hand to isolate him, which
Yeah.
I wanted to isolate him raising with a 10.
Right.
Okay.
In front of your ace.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. At least just gonna.
And I'll get
raise
to the rest of
here
the story in a second because it was really funny,
I
actually.
think you're a unlucky.
He goes, I think you're an unlucky guy, so I'm going to raise you.
Or he didn't raise you.
No,
I
no,
think on 4.
I'm
he
gonna
called
call,
you.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
call,
yeah.
right.
Ricky has called 2 bets cold here with deuce 3 of diamonds on the button. And we're gonna see 6-way action. And look at this, Jack deuce of hearts for seat number 9 in the big blind. 6-way action here to the flop. Ace king 9. Look, Harold flopped top
Well, look
and
at Alicia,
bottom,
though.
but Alicia's got middle set. Great for Alicia. Finally, she's going to win one. And I think that she might get. Let's see what Harold's going to do here with ace 9. Is he going to check raise the flop?
I doubt it.
He is going to check raise
Really?
the flop. Harold? Yep.
Oh, my God.
I think you might smooth call here and pop him on the turn. That's
Yeah.
how I usually play
Against
it.
Harold, I'd probably play it that way. But she's not going to slow play.
She's
She's
going to
raise
3-bet
it right away.
And I think that he probably might call, fall into check call mode, is scared of ace king here.
Of course.
Turn is an 8.
And Harold is in really bad shape. He needs an ace and only an ace to win this pot.
And he check calls here. Yeah, 9 would not be good for him here, Dave. And the river is an 8, and he actually. Well, no,
Yeah,
he
it
doesn't
doesn't
quite
change
get
anything.
counterfeited.
No, that actually does nothing.
She bets again, and he's going to check call
If
here the whole
theoretically
way.
she was playing ace queen that hard,
Right, right.
he's got her beat, but I think it's obvious she doesn't have that. And finally, Alicia, her patience and her discipline is rewarded when
Right.
she wins a nice pot here.
So go on with the story.
Anyway, okay, so later on that day, I'm going to hand to them, and sure enough, I scoop a monster. I make like a 6-high straight with a wheel, okay? And he loses all his money. He dunks off all his money. So I look at him and I go,
He what's off all his money?
he dunks off all his money.
okay.
Anyway, it's a huge pot, and he shows his trip 10s or some
Yeah, yeah.
garbage, whatever he had, and I show my straight. And there's a couple other people in the pot, and I go, and I kind of like wink at Tony and a couple of the regulars, and I go, that's right, send it to Lucky.
And he got pissed off.
Of course.
Gee, I wonder. I would never put kind of a snide-ass remark on you.
I'm sorry. I mean, have you ever heard anybody actually look at you and go, hey, I'm going to call you because you're unlucky? I mean, it was obvious he was trying. He's one of those guys, he tries to get inside your head, play those mind games, and get you on tilt. I have no problem with somebody doing that. I can recognize that. But, hey, I'm going to play it right back at him then.
Queen 6-3 here on the flop.
What, somebody bet like that?
But I got a couple of people to really laugh, though, when I said that. Send it to Lucky.
Time.
Joel has got a top pair here. And I think Ricky
Uh-oh, you're called.
has
You
called.
won't call.
She bet, and he called here with King Deuce, Dave. King Deuce. Turns a jack. She's going to bet again, and Ricky's out of there.
I might. For a stack of chips, I'll let
I'm
you.
going to tell you, Joel and Alicia do play this game pretty straightforward, and there's nothing wrong with that at this level.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, if Joel would just kind of tighten up a little bit pre-flop, I mean, I think limping in, even completing in the small blind with
Yeah.
hands as bad as 9-3, queen
Right.
deuce, it's just not even worth the extra chips. It gets you in a spot where you're one mistake begets another mistake.
Right.
Also calling capped pre-flop with deuces And then calling all the way down to the river can get you in trouble as well.
I think she, like a lot of other players, I think she might steam a little bit. I mean, boy, we've
Yeah.
never seen that in a higher level game, right? Right. Pocket kings here for seat number 3.
Yeah. Now she's got a hand that's interesting. She's got queen jack suited on the button.
If a couple people call in between, she might call here.
Now with nobody else in between, it's a hand you should probably throw away and limit hold'em, but she's going to call this.
Yeah.
Now in no limit, sometimes you can call that,
That's the odds I'm playing.
but you can't do it here, not heads up.
Hit our odds at the
And
same
Harold's going to
exact
actually
time.
limp in, and this is a play where Harold's actually calling with ace-7.
Well, queen 7-6, is she going to get in trouble here?
And this is a mistake.
She's
is
just going to call.
Yeah, and one mistake begets another mistake. And look, Harold overcalls as well with the ace-7.
Turns a deuce.
Now,
It's a
can
third
she
club.
represent? Can she represent here? Is there any way you'd raise this up with queen jack and then take the free showdown?
Well, of course, we have never seen that at this level.
But that's a play you could use here, right?
Well, especially if you raise with your flushes and such, it puts maybe 2 red kings in a tough spot if they want to continue on.
Well, exactly. I mean, there's not much fold equity here, obviously.
Right.
But she doesn't know that, so you got the small amount of fold equity, and then you can always take the free showdown.
Well, she needs to hit a queen or a jack unless a 4th club comes and she can represent. And the river's a 4th club here.
Yeah, but
Owen
pots-
checks.
And I
Yeah,
think,
she just checks it down.
yeah, and you know what? One mistake beget another mistake. She probably should not have called pre-flop, got herself into trouble.
Now, she
hit
did,
top pair.
she did raise the turn, and the river came club. She probably could have bet the river and taken it down, although you would think, well, it's funny.
You never
this
know.
is very, very advanced limit. You would think maybe an overpair wouldn't call a raise on the turn without a high club. So you might think you're going to lose anyways. But
Yeah.
obviously 2 red kings probably can't call the river bet after a turn raise, can they?
It's really tough, yeah. Now, it's funny, Harold, who we usually talk about being a pretty solid limit player, I always think if there's any leak in his game, it's his blind play. Now, you get a raise out of Owen in early position, and then a call by seat 9 on the button, and you're going to call in the big blind with ace-7 offsuit.
Right.
Now, I think that's a leak in your
That's
game.
when you just have to
The
lose
problem
a
is you
lot.
don't know what
You
you're looking
control
for.
your chips,
If you catch your 7, well, you could be up against ace-king, but you could
Yeah.
be up against kings. Now, if you catch your ace, how do you know you're not up against ace-king and you're really severely out-kick there? I hate putting money in the pot out of position when I don't know what I'm rooting for.
Email here from Jive Dadson. What? He says, subject, Gay Paris. My operatives inform me that you plan to visit Paris. This is to say, Gay Paris. I've been in Paris twice in the last few months, the first time on business. There was a general strike going on, and I met a hot Asian babe while stranded at Charles de Gaulle Airport. The second time there was a riot and then a general strike. But since I was there with the hot Asian babe, who I met on the first trip, it really didn't matter all that much. Never did get to the aviation club. Jive Dadson.
Oh, man. Wow.
He loves to rub that in my face, Jive. I think that's his new thing, that he's got this hot Asian girl.
I think it's
This
great.
French hot
Anytime we
Asian
can
girl.
hear from Jive Dadson,
Yeah.
it warms the cockles of my insides.
Does it?
Yes, it does. My cockles are warmed.
Indian try.
5-way action here, limped around. Eight
And
8-7-6 here on the flop.
Joel is open-ended with the ass end of it here. Nobody's got a 9, but Harold has got top pair
He's got
and
8-5.
open-ended.
Yeah.
So Harold's got the best hand here. Actually, I'm sorry, Mike's got the best hand here. Top pair, top kicker.
Yeah, he's got ace-8. Mike leads out. Joel calls. Harold overcalls. And seat number 3 is also in there with 3-5. Now the turn
There
is
it
a
is.
4.
And they all have the 5. They all made it.
And it's not like anyone might have a 9 here. Owen leads into the field with a 5, with 3-5. Now Mike's hand is real garbage now. Actually, excuse me, you're right. Well, you're not right, but a 9 wouldn't be a straight right here.
Right,
Yeah. And Mike is going to call, drawing dead to a chop.
No, the 4, if you have the 5 there, the only card you really want to see is the 4. You don't want to see the 9.
And we get a raise here by Joel. A raise here. Now, obviously, if you have a 5, you don't want to see 5-9.
Right.
Yeah. Now, Harold is thinking about calling here. He's got the 5 as well. I mean, this is going to be a three-way chop if it's come down to showdown
Yeah,
here.
now Mike is still in there with ace-8. I think it's pretty easy for him to lay this down, huh? Especially when Harold calls and Owen calls. And Owen's going to call also. And if you're Harold, you got to get rid of ace-8 here.
Oh, yeah.
And he does. Good lay down by Mike.
And this one is going to be chopped. 0% to win for anybody here, Dave. He's going to get chopped up.
That is so messed up. Fresh.
Wow, now the river's a 9. That does change, well, some things. You got to almost
Yeah, well-
figure everyone's got a 5, though. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
but
just-
if anybody was in there with a 10, you'd almost think they were in there with 10-5, which is an odd holding.
everyone, chop it up 3 ways here. It's going to give us a chance to read another email
I mean, the
here.
9, actually, I like the 9 coming because that gives me, if somebody was in there with, say, 9-5 or 9-8, well, that doesn't scare me at all.
Right.
You and I had the same hand.
Karthik Raghavan says, I'd like to play in Tuesday's game 5-5 no limit. Is it a regular feature? Yes, it is. How do I get into the game?
Come on
You can
down.
come on down to the Bicycle Casino, get your name on the board. I'd say come here definitely as early as possible tomorrow.
Yeah.
Board starts really filling up around 1 or 2 o'clock, Dave, for that game, as we have a lot of people that are...
He also said he said he has bad luck with ace-jack, suited or offsuit. And one of the reasons you might have bad luck, especially offsuit, ace-jack's pretty much a garbage hand.
yeah.
I mean, it sucks.
Every time I play solid cards, I lose.
Getting word from Ronnie. Steve has informed him that it is a tournament
Ready
hand.
to satisfy my
Email here from Richard T. says that no limit is a train wreck that most want to see. Limit is the safe travel that is fun to watch. With that said, I can live with one limit night a week. It's interesting to hear you guys talk poker around the boring lack of action. And he prefaced that comment by saying, if I told you there would be a train wreck tomorrow at 11 a.m. in Santa Monica and Wilshire, you'd be camping out there to watch it. People want to be there selling their seats. So there you go. If I told you all trains will arrive safely, no one would go to watch. So I kind of read that a little bit backwards.
I got you. Yeah. Queen Jack suited for Owen. He's in the small blind. I think he's going to put some money in the pot. Now, Alicia's raised it up in early position with ace-10 of clubs. First time she's kind of raised it out of position. I mean, she's in early position with somewhat of a moderate holding. But she does have the best hand right now.
Yeah, she does.
And now it's always interesting, how is she going to play it here? Now, Harold and Owen have both hit top pair.
Well, Harold's going to lead out, and, she should just fold easily.
Easy, there's
She's
no
got-
club
she's
out
got
there.
Absolutely nothing. Jack 3-4.
And the one thing with her game is she has no problem getting rid of hands. And once again, she throws it away.
Now, let's see what Owen's going to do. Well, Mike has got ace-6, and he is going to call, as
What?
often people at this level do with any ace. They will call hoping to hit the ace.
Right, and his ace would be good, but
And Harold is going to raise. Now, do you 3-bet there with King Jack? Mike is out
I
of
mean,
there.
Queen Jack, Owen.
No, Owen raised. I'm saying do you 3-bet if you're King Jack there, if you're Harold, because Harold led. Oh, excuse me. You're right. Owen led with Queen Jack, and
Right.
Harold raised with King Jack. I see. Check call here with Queen Jack, Rivers 10.
And that raise, by the way, got rid of ace-6, and the ace
Right.
would have come on the turn.
Absolutely.
And King Jack is going to take this down, and kicker does play.
River was a 10. I guess it's always.
What I threw away right
Yeah,
now.
Alicia actually threw away runner, 2 pair, but it's still, you can't look at the results. You've got to realize that board missed you completely, and it had to come out that way for you to win.
Now, Harold did not bet the river there. It's funny. I guess maybe the only thing you might beat there is Queen Jack specifically.
I said, well, you're.
Would you think that someone might bet out with Jack 10, though, at the end? It's
Yeah, I mean,
interesting.
I bet, though. If the guy shows me 2 pair, hey, all the power to you, buddy.
Right. Butt moves over here to seat 3. Interesting. We got an email here from Flat Easily from Richardson, Texas. The poker dustbin of America, he says. Traditionally, when people play where I'm from, they stack their chips up on the table in stacks ranging from 10 or 50 tall. But on Live on the Bike, I noticed people keep their chips in distribution racks. Why is that? Is it a West Coast thing? Well, they actually allow that here in LA. They don't allow it in Vegas. I remember playing at the Bellagio, and they don't allow
it's
it.
funny, they'll allow it anywhere if you just ask the floor man if I can do it. The whole point of it is they don't want the game to slow down by you reaching into your.
We had a raise here
racks.
by Jacob with ace-10 of diamonds, 9-deuce-3 here. Now, Joel has called 2 bets full with king-3 of clubs here, Dave, to a raise.
Yeah, and Ricky's actually got the top pair. He's got Jack 9.
Better watch out. There's a lot of runner.
And Ricky's going to check call here with Jack 9.
Yeah.
And I'm one of them. Tips, please.
And there's the ace.
Turns a club, gives Jacob top pair. Joel's got a flush draw and a pair.
Yeah, she needs a 3, a king, or a club to win this hand, and she's going to call.
And
And
the
there's a
river's a
club.
club, and he makes 2 pair.
Wow.
And he's going to bet, and she should raise here. She's got the nuts. She does raise.
Yeah, and Jacob's got to be sick
Well,
here.
again, it's interesting. Against a player like Jacob, we've seen Jacob on the show before. I think if Joel raises the turn, I think Jacob folds.
Probably.
By far
I mean, that is
the worst
an
in any
advanced
place.
play to do, but there isn't a whole lot that ace 10 can beat there.
No, not at all. You put her almost on like a weak ace, like ace 3 or maybe even ace 9.
Or maybe she
And she
flopped a
makes it-
set.
You
She's
never know,
slow
right.
playing a set. I mean, I
Ace-
just don't see how ace 10 is good there. In that
I
spot.
agree. And once again, runner, ace 10 comes out.
He got up.
Now, here in California, I guess it's to each their own. Some people like to play with their chip racks. Some people don't. I mean, when I play, I generally take my chips out of the rack. Do you?
In the no limit, I do. In limit, I always used to keep them in the rack.
You keep them in the rack? Okay.
Just limit. I mean, when we were playing like say 20-40 or 30-60, there's just so many damn chips that it's just like it's so cumbersome to, I
Yeah.
just think it's.
It's
like
also a matter of, I think before when you were propping,
yeah, you gotta
and they
get up
ask
so
you to
often.
move so much.
Yeah, what's the point? Yeah, exactly.
Keep the chips in there. Why not? Save time.
Oh, you're so funny. Chips, please, double zero. Not so much so because I told him this is my first time ever playing, but being that it's not,
Got about, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes left in the show. Pretty active night on 2+2 here tonight, Dave. I don't remember as many posts as we've gotten here in recently.
All you gotta do is
recent time.
you put a
Yeah.
little limit hold'em out there, start some controversy,
Yeah,
and
yeah. Four-way action here.
that's all you need.
King 8-3 rainbow, and everybody has missed here. It was limped around.
Yeah. No pair, no draw.
let him go so I can do another runner trick. Get good.
I mean, if you want my personal opinion,
I don't.
okay, but I'll give it to you anyways. I honestly really don't care that much. If they wanted to eliminate tonight this game, it wouldn't make that much of a difference to me. I just don't see how the $200 game is that much more entertaining than this game. I figure if you can do limit once a week, why not? As opposed to, they say, a $200
I'm all
restricted
for it.
game.
I mean, I like it.
Yeah.
Harold's got, he makes a pair on the turn. Joel picks up a draw.
Yeah, he's open-ended.
And
She's open-ended.
she actually bet it, and Harold called.
Right
And she makes it
on.
there. Look
Yeah.
at that.
Check.
And she checked it!
Well, that's a mistake. 'Cause
She
Harold's not
checked
going to
the
bet it.
river!
And that's a mistake. 'Cause I don't
Oh,
think
no.
Harold bets this.
Oh, wow.
And Harold checks it there.
How many, I've never
And she
seen
says,
so many low-limit players think they're going to check raise the river. It's
Hold it
unbelievable.
and it came. I'm on fire.
That is something.
I mean, the
Tricky.
funny thing too is that if you're up against pretty good competition,
Wow. That's the
now
play
we've
of the
seen
night right
people
there.
go for check raises on the river, but they've never done it as a bluff. If you're up against good competition and the guy bets the river, he's going to probably fold to your check raise anyways. So why not get the bet in
Don't ever
instead of
doubt
having
that.
him check behind you, right?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, the funny thing is when you're playing against competition like this, especially, she's got to be aware of who she's playing against. Harold is just as likely to bet that as he is to check it, even with a pair.
For 20 years, I know
Um,
what skills you have.
And if you check raise Harold, Harold tends not strong enough to call your raise anyway.
Right.
So, I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, to me, I like the fact that our show is a little bit of everything.
No, I do too.
For everybody.
Yeah. But I just don't see necessarily, I might not 100% agree with people that say, oh, this is such a donk fest, it's not worth putting on. I mean, we've seen some pretty bad play at the lower level restricted no limit games.
Well, I mean,
come on,
if
let's be
a
honest.
if the donk fest, it's not necessarily the limit. If
Right.
the donk fest is what we're talking about, if you go back to Friday's show, and if you
Yeah,
can't
how
see
about that
Friday's
game?
show,
Yeah,
you should subscribe to the archives and watch that show because
that was
might
some
have
of the
been,
weakest, poorest poker that we've ever seen on the show on Friday's game.
Yeah.
And it was a great, exciting game because there was a lot of money involved.
right. But there was terrible poker going there. Jacob's going to continue
Yeah,
betting
he
here.
raised
Ace
here
Queen.
with Ace Queen.
Ricky's going to call with 9-5, and we're heads up.
And I think that Jacob is all in here. Looks like
Is he?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is. And Ace Queen versus 5-9. Jacob needs a queen or an ace.
Turns a 5.
Now he's drawing
got-
dead.
Yeah, you're right. He is drawing dead. And Ricky fills up, pushing it
Yeah.
anymore.
Dolly Parton, 95.
Adding insult to injury there. Now, Friday's
was
show, I
some
remember,
of-
15 minutes into the show, I remember actually taking my mic off and looking over at Evelyn and Ronnie and saying, these are some of the worst players and the worst play that I've seen in a long, long time. And
Yeah.
it was really, really some bad
And
play.
compare that to Wednesdays, where we actually had somewhat of a tough lineup, especially in the beginning of the show. I
Yeah.
mean, that game was heads and tails. And I'm not saying it was better entertainment or it was any less fun. I'm just saying in terms of quality of poker.
Right. And not-
Friday's game was great show, very entertaining, but it was probably some of the kind of weakest conglomeration of players. And not to pick on anybody specifically, there were some strong players on the game, there were some weak players in the game. Just that style together, in combination.
Yeah, I mean, it was some weak play.
Yeah.
I mean, not to mince words. That was some really, really weak poker on Friday night. I know you and I were itching to get in that game.
Yeah. King Jack of diamonds here for Jacob. Looks like he's going to rebuy. King Queen suited here for Mike in seat number 6. See if Mike is going to raise on the button. He does not.
While you're shaking it, genius.
Seat 5 put something in the card window, but I didn't quite see it.
Really big I love you.
5-way action here, limped around, 5 small bets.
I'm not ashamed.
Jack 4-3, a couple clubs. Wow, nice flop here for Ricky. Checks at ace-4 clubs.
Yeah, he's got a big flop.
Middle pair with a club draw. Now, this is the type of hand, if it goes bet, call, call, you might check raise, right?
Oh, definitely.
For value.
You're betting for value.
Look at he's 50% against the entire field.
Now, as long as somebody doesn't have a set here.
Now, I don't know what Joelle was calling with. She's got 8-9 there. Brittany, Kayla, and Bria, I love you. Oh, there you go.
Oh,
That's from
sweet.
seat 5. Now, Ricky should check raise that for value. He does not. And we're going to see 5-way action here.
Yeah, his hand is definitely strong enough to check raise.
And there it
Look
is.
at that, he
There's the
makes
nut
it.
flush. And he checked it again. And Jacob has made kings up now. He's going to bet again on the turn.
Well, how about Mike, who just called with King Queen to hit his overcard, and here he hits it, and he's no good.
And I assume that Ricky is going to check raise here with the nut flush.
Of course.
Yep, there it is.
And you imagine Jacob's going to put his last amount of money in there. Well, actually, no, he's got another rack there.
Now, it's funny here. You know, Ricky has check raised the turn, and he might still get called here. But if he actually check raised the flop with that type of hand, he might be able to lead out on the turn and still get like 5 people in there because now the pot is so big. People think they're going to chase with the queen of clubs.
Exactly.
And that's the point there.
And
Now-
Mike gets away from King Queen. We're heads up here. As long as Jacob doesn't catch a king or a jack. Nope.
Yeah, River's a deuce. And is Jacob going to be able to throw this away? He does throw it away, so he was calling to fill up there.
Well, he had 4 outs to the winner.
And again, I make the case there, if Ricky, and maybe someone can do the math out if they have the time, if Ricky check raises the flop, he actually might win more money because when he check raised the turn, he knocked out one player, and Jacob didn't call him on the river. Whereas you might have guys just call you all the way down because they think the pot is bigger when you build it up on the flop. Especially in these low limit stake games.
Prefer limit over no limit.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of pushing, really raising with flush draws.
Yeah,
but in a limit
pair
game,
and an overpair.
in a limit game, though, when you get 2 or 3, when you get 4 callers,
When you get the nut flush draw anyways, it's worth it, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
you got to realize you're going to hit it 1 out of 3 times.
Yeah.
Limit in live, no limit in tournament.
Ace King for Mike. In seat number 6. Wonder if he's going to raise this up. Well, we got a limp here with Queen 10. And that's kind of a little bit of a leak in Alicia's game. If there's any leak in there, that's a hand that I'm either going to raise it up or I'm going to throw it away. It's not a hand that's going to do well multi-way. And Mike did not raise with Ace King here. And it looks like everybody's missed the flop. I mean, seat 9, Joelle's got 9-3, and she has the best hand right now.
Everybody check. Turns a 5 of diamonds.
And now Jacob has made the pair of 5s, and he's got the best hand.
And the river.
And another diamond comes off. And I want to say Joelle's going to win this with the 3 of diamonds.
Yeah, she's got the only diamond in the hand.
Yeah, now Jacob's made 2 pair, but it's a worthless 2 pair.
And now Ricky's going to bet, and that might drive Joelle out of there.
I don't think you are. I think you have
I mean,
Now-
she's got 2 people behind her. 2
And the
people
only interesting
behind
thing
her.
about Ricky is now he's going to
And it does.
he's going to win this in all likelihood. But you just wonder. Wait a second.
Wait a
Mike
minute, if
gonna
Mike
call?
calls with ace king high,
Oh, that's classic.
and Ricky is going to lose with queen high.
God, it wasn't skill. Oh my God, I threw away a diamond.
I
Yeah,
can't
and
blame her, though.
No, you can't. And the problem with Joelle calling there's 3 players behind
Yeah,
her.
yeah.
That's why she can't call. But it was a really odd play by Ricky. Now, Ricky's on the button, and he checks the flop, and he checks the turn. Now, if he had a significant diamond, wouldn't he probably have bet the turn?
Straight and a
You'd
flush,
think?
any pair.
I had a flash.
Email here from Brian Paneth. He says, it's not that you guys are boring. It's the nature of limit hold'em.
Yesterday with 8 dudes.
What is Bart going to scream out? Oh, my God, he raises to $16? By the
Try
way,
it. Try it. I want to hear it.
oh, my God, $16. Doesn't really work
Yeah,
out,
it
does it?
doesn't. Okay, I see where you're going.
By the way, can give a shout out to my first baby girl. My first baby, a girl, Chloe.
That was
Soon to be a big poker fan as well. Well, welcome to the world, Chloe.
Yes, welcome.
Yes.
Shout out. That's great. Brian's a dad. Congratulations, Brian. Actually, one of my good buddies is actually due. I want to say actually due tomorrow. No, he's due on Wednesday. Sorry.
Tuxer, how long you been married for?
4 years.
Any plans of children in the near future? Say in the next 4 or 5 years?
Near future? Oh, in the next 4 or 5 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't consider that the near future, but yeah.
Like, not in the next year, though, specifically.
No, not next year. I don't think.
10, 6, 7 here. What a flop for Ricky. He's got a flush draw, straight draw to the 9, which would be the nut straight. It would beat any other 8 out there with the jack 8.
You know, I like to point out to my mom. My mom always kind of yells at me. She goes, when am I going to have grandchildren? I go, Mom, you've got grandchildren. They're all over the world.
Turns the queen. Look at this. We got 9, 6 of hearts in there as well. And that's not up there. Seat 4. I mean, look at the jack 8 of hearts and 9, 6 of hearts.
Look at that. See, that's excitement.
Yeah. I mean, look at those 2 big draws. And is Steve going to check raise here with 9, 6 of hearts? No, he just calls.
And
This
there
is
it is.
amazing. But Ricky doesn't have a pair yet. He's got a straight draw. And the river's a deuce.
And Steve is going to win this with 9, 6 of hearts.
Well, Ricky bets again.
I need the 8.
Ricky's going to bet again. And he shows the bluff.
Wow.
And I think that Steve realizes he doesn't have a pair.
And the interesting thing there,
Oh,
you know,
man.
Steve goes, I needed an 8.
And look at Ricky shake his head.
Higher than your flush.
Yeah, and that's Ricky's game. Ricky likes to bluff, and he likes to show it.
Yeah.
He likes to kind of needle.
Needle.
Stick it right in there.
I need your the 8.
I
Anything
mean,
he can
both
do
of
to try
those
to...
hands, like in a no-limit game, are almost big enough to put a lot of chips in.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I need your 8 first.
Ronnie's holding his arm up. I think his arm's a little sore from this limit night.
We'll have to get him a massage. Ace 3 suited for Mike. In seat number 6. Sure, he's going to limp in with that. Ace 4 suited for Steve. And he's just going to call. That's a tournament move.
Oh, come on. Look at this.
A family pot here. Jacob, a family pot.
I think that's going to be a new phrase on our show. I'm going to start using that a lot.
This is classic.
That's a tournament move.
Wait, Chicken Tender's actually quoting you on 2+2, and there's the ace.
We don't need
Now, both players, neither kicker is going to play in the end of all this. So they're both in fine shape.
A couple clubs out there. No one has a club draw.
But we always talk about the problem with a weak ace here. Now, neither player knows that the other player only has a weak ace.
trying to predict.
Steve is going to bet here. Mike calls with ace 3. Ricky calls with middle pair. Joelle, look at Joelle. She's got a queen and a club draw. Middle pair and a club draw.
Oh, okay.
Now, again, her hand's probably big enough to raise on the button there.
Yeah, I think so. Oh,
Turns
there's two
to
pair.
deuce. Now she's got 2 pair with clubs.
Yeah, she's got a big, big hand here.
And I'm sure she's going to pop it up now on the button, isn't
Oh,
she?
yeah.
Steve's going to bet here again.
Gotta push.
Mike calls,
I'm predicting 2 pair.
and she's going to raise.
Yep, and she's putting a lot of chips out there.
Look at- She's 83%.
Oh, huge favorite here.
And Steve is going to call with ace 4 there.
Yeah, what can you beat if you have ace 4? Come on, throw it away.
And Mike is
And
going
Mike's
to
gonna overcall
with ace 3.
Amazing.
Well, Joelle needs to dodge a 3 or a 4 that are not
an ace.
clubs.
Ace, king, no pair?
And the river is a queen, and she fills up.
Yeah, that's gonna be okay.
I checked to the razor.
He's not gonna bet, is
Mike's
he?
going to bet? Raise him.
Yeah, it's an easy raise.
He's got to raise him here.
Now, some people would argue, well, is there any
Now,
reason
is there
you should
any
just
way
call?
that Steve can call here?
No, it's an easy lay down. Now, some people would argue, is there any reason to call this to try to keep Steve in there? But I go, no. What's the difference? I go, you're either going to get one bet there, or Mike's going to call you anyway.
Maybe Mike has a queen here, too.
Exactly. Mike's representing a queen.
Now the pot is so big. And, yeah,
Pocket deuces.
queen deuce.
I'm predicting that one and that one.
And
I
she
really
was
didn't know how
rolling
it
on
would turn
clubs
out,
on the
but I
turn.
really
Yeah, she's in great shape,
Yeah.
obviously. Big hand for Joelle. Now, Chicken Tender on 2+2 says, hey, not to pick on anybody specifically, but to quote Bart here, Don overcalls with ace 6.
Oh, man. That was one of the biggest overcalls we've ever seen on the show, Dave.
Yeah, that was phenomenal.
Yeah.
My
And Barry Woods wouldn't even call that.
tournament hand with
Man, you're really giving it to Barry Woods.
Hey, anytime I can.
Is that what they call you?
Anytime I can. Hey, if you can't have fun with your friends, who the hell can you have fun with, right?
Yeah.
I'm not smiling at you, instead I'm smiling at what I'm thinking. I was actually clowning myself and don't want to say anything out loud. I'll tell you what they call me.
Interesting here.
I decided I wouldn't.
Getting an email here from Scott Huff, who, of course,
Oh,
is
read it.
the host of Card Player. He says he wants to come down to the game tomorrow, so maybe we can get him in the game. I don't know if he's listening right
Not
now.
even a question. Of course we
Yeah.
can get him in the game.
Now, I think he thinks it's 2-5 no limit. But it's 5-5, and he can buy in for 300 if he wants.
They know what they call you.
7-way action here, limped around.
We actually don't have a 2-5 game here, do we?
No, 3-5. I think that's probably what he was referring to.
Right.
Jack 8-5 here, Rainbow.
Anybody have a jack? Oh, no, Alicia's got a jack. Eric's got a jack, too. Alicia with the best hand right now.
I guess those guys are back from the Bellagio.
Yeah, I would assume so, obviously.
Well, a bet and a call here by everybody.
He doesn't get much time off. I'm sure he's going to be... Card player's going to send him somewhere else. Oh, what a bad beat. Eric's got the top pair now.
Wow, look at Alicia's hand. Open-ended straight flush draw with a pair. Ricky makes a set of 9s, and Eric has top 2 pair. Harold has a higher flush draw with King 5.
Now, this is one of those times, if you were
my
playing
God.
no limit, so much money can go in right now.
Jack 10 of clubs, King 5 of clubs, Jack 9, set of 9s for Ricky. And Ricky, I believe, raised. And the river here is a 10. And Owen makes a higher straight with King Queen.
Owen was in there with King Queen?
Are you kidding me?
Oh, that's disgusting.
Look at the river. It's an offsuit 10.
Oh, that is so
he
disgusting.
had so little outs, and Ricky's disgusted.
Oh, man.
My goodness. Alicia makes 2 pair. She calls in the middle with 2 pair, Jack 10. I think that Ricky's actually going to fold the set of 9s. Joelle is going to
She lays down.
she called with the bottom straight. I mean, Owen had, what is it, 3 outs there to the win?
I had the lower end.
I mean, that is unbelievable. What a river card.
Actually, yeah, 3 outs. Any 10.
Wow.
Any 10 gives it to him. That's it.
I mean, that was probably one of the biggest hands in terms of what people had hand holdings on the turn that we've ever seen.
Oh, huge.
Set 2 pair, open-ended straight flush draw with top pair, flush draw with a pair, and Owen gets there with a gut shot to an offsuit 10 for the nuts.
Yeah, basically there were 5 hands in there. Owen had by far the worst one.
Wow.
Okay, so I got to read this email here from Scott Huff before we finish up here.
Yeah.
Dave and Bart, what's cracking, fellows? Back when we had you guys on the circuit, you mentioned that the little pull that you have includes getting people to the top of the list for the game. My buddy Joe and I would like to play in tomorrow night's game, if it's one of your 2 to 5 no limit games, if that's possible. And yes, Scott, of course we can get you in.
Yeah.
Shoot me an email back and let me know. If somehow you don't get the email, I will give you a call tomorrow. Well, either way.
So that will be interesting to see Scott Huff, everyone who's a circuit fan. Of course, you can listen to David and I on the circuit. We did a show about, maybe 2 months back at the end of the LA Poker Classic. We had a raise here by Eric, and Ricky has got King 10 of clubs. That was an unbelievable hand last hand. I mean, that was almost like the deck was rigged.
I love how Ricky was upset because he caught his set of 9s on the turn.
Well, Ricky's flopped a straight here, and he's going to check it. He's flopped the nut straight here.
And you know what? Right now, I'm done with it with 9s.
Yeah, again, Eric's probably going to check, and Ricky thinks he's going to get a check raise in on the turn, but it probably is going to go check fold.
Yeah, it's an easy lay down here for Eric. I mean,
Eric's going to bet again. Well, he's probably going to fold to the check raise.
Look at the board.
Yeah.
Come on, what do you think this guy had? Yeah, an easy lay down here.
Yeah, and Eric folds, and we're going to do one more hand here.
And Ricky shows the straight.
So it'll be fun to have Scott Huff on the show, as always. Maybe he can pump up live at the bike, tell his fans to watch him play. We won't try to go too hard on him.
Yeah, we'll pump up the circuit.
Yeah.
Scott's he's really a good guy.
Yeah.
And a good writer, I got to say.
Yeah, he does a couple articles for Card Player almost every issue. I've yet to figure out how often Card Player comes out, though.
I think it's once every 2 weeks.
Is it once every do they stay with that schedule? Once a month, she says. Twice a month. Okay,
twice a month. That would be once every 2 weeks?
So maybe that's why I'm a little confused, because it seems like it comes out maybe once 2 weeks and then maybe 3 weeks later on a long month.
Well, we had the casino edition here, and there are different editions. If you go to a newsstand, it's a different edition than say the casino edition.
And they have
also
a college edition. Yeah.
Right.
Liz Liu was on the cover of that one. I need to get that one framed. We got a open limp here on the button, King Queen.
Oh man.
And Ricky's got 9-4. 7-4 deuce, 9-4 is going to outflop, and he's going to come
up. Yeah. And I checked. I never checked. He went like this. Did he or didn't he? Dealer. Did I check? He went like this.
Awesome. Late hand controversy, late night controversy here.
You went like this, and I said check.
need a floor man, please.
Well, this is always nice to end the game.
Yeah.
Let's listen in, Dave. Because I think this is some time for some Ricky antics here.
If he says, you know what, I must have been subconscious.
Let's go.
If you say you
All
saw
right.
it,
Check.
You didn't.
I didn't.
Oh, man.
I was going to say, King or Queen
Like,
come off.
oh, man.
But King or Queen come off there, wow.
Ricky's going to bet now.
And Owen's going to throw it away.
Oh, that's going to do it. You know what? Thanks for all the comments. Boy, we got more viewer feedback tonight, I got to say, than probably we have ever had. Like, over almost 100 emails, 21 pages on 2+2. And seems like it's almost like 50-50 in terms of people that want limit and no limit.
Right.
Stick around tomorrow, 300 to 500. Hopefully we'll have...
No limit.
No limit.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have Scott Huff in the game, of course, the host of Card Player. You can check him out. Host of The Circuit. You can check him out at The Circuit. Over at cardplayer.com. He's got a podcast on. So for everybody here in the booth and for Dave Tuckman, I'm Bart Hanson. Good night, everybody from Live the Bike.
It's here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.